A necromancer, one who summons an immortal army with overwhelmingly limitless power. The main character gets a unique and incredibly powerful hidden class. What's it like with a legion of the undead? Let's dive into this super hot series right now. In a school with a rather long history, the principal's stern voice suddenly rings out. Dear students, after 3 years of study, we have all mastered the knowledge of the job classes, haven't we? Right then, in the school grounds, a magic formation had been laid out, ready for immediate use. Many students were gathered in the school park, each and everyone listening with great care and attention. That solemn voice continued to speak. The speaker was the principal of Taehai First High School. Luke Van Hee announced that today was the day for their class change, which would also decide their future lives. This was an extremely important moment for every student present. Therefore, Principal Luke Van continuously offered encouragement. Not wanting to speak at length, I hope all of you can reach the heights of student Su Tianxing and become pillars of our human race. The person Principal Luke Van mentioned was Su Tianxing, a level 80 divine mage. Su Tianxing's figure emanated a golden aura that was both powerful and incredibly mysterious. After listening to everything Principal Luke Van had said, the expressions of all the students there immediately turned extremely serious, including our main character Lin Moyu, who was no exception. This young man with a cold expression is our main character. His name is Lin Moyu, a student at Taehai First High School. He transmigrated to this world many years ago and has finally waited for the day of his class change. This world is a combination of a game and reality, where not only do many dungeons and secret realms exist, but also many ferocious monsters. After players change their class, they can challenge dungeons and secret realms or go kill monsters and demons to collect experience, increase their level, and improve their skills. Strengthening themselves in this dangerous world, countless human sages have fallen in the war against demons, fighting to carve out a living space for humanity. That's why we have the peaceful life of today. In any war, those who lead the charge face unparalleled danger and bear the heaviest burden. It's the same in this world. The most beneficial are the main combat classes. Following them are the support classes, and finally, the lifestyle classes. Main combat and support classes can be divided into 5 tiers: low tier, mid tier, high tier, rare tier, and finally, legendary tier. As for the legendary tier, one might not even appear in the entire city of Taehai in 10 years. At that moment, the principal announced to the students, begin activating the class change formation. As soon as the principal's announcement rang out, a young man next to Mo Yu came up and patted him on the shoulder. This was Gao Yang. The main character's classmate wanted to change into the most, our main character being the cool boy type, didn't want to say anything to him. But Gao Yang enthusiastically asked repeatedly, "Come on, just say a little something. It's fine, I want to become a knight the most. Look at my body, if I become a knight, I'll look so majestic. Then I can also show off to the girls. Besides, with your and Xiaojue's good grades, you'll probably get a decent class." The main character said nothing and walked away. Seeing this, someone ran up and pulled on Gao Yang's shirt. "What are you saying to that tight-lipped guy? Even if you ask, he won't answer you. His grades are just a little better. What's so great about that? What if he gets a lifestyle class today?" Gao Yang disagreed with them. "Don't say that. Actually, Moyu just simply doesn't like to talk." At that time, the principal approached an old man with a smile. "Grandmaster Truong, sorry to trouble you today." The old man cheerfully replied, "Not at all. This is something that should be done." This was Truong Thien, a formation. Grandmaster level 52. Mo Yu observed the old man and was also astonished. That old man was actually a formation grandmaster, a rare level support class. The principal took out the list and began to announce, "Next, I will read the names of those changing classes. When your name is called, you will enter the class change formation. First up, Dat." He went up for his class change, but his luck was bad. He changed into a lifestyle class, a farmer. Knowing he got a lifestyle class, the young man wailed in distress. "My ancestors didn't bless me this time. Why a lifestyle class and a farmer at that?" Seeing this, the students below began to discuss, farming is okay. If he can upgrade to a great farmer or even a saint farmer later, it's not bad at all. The second young man who stepped up also got a lifestyle class, but his profession was a chef. He was satisfied with this class because his father was also a chef. Now he was one too. It was truly a case of the son following in the father's footsteps. On the side, the old formation master Truong Tien observed that this year's students were too ordinary. The principal felt the same way. So far, no rare classes had appeared. Truong Tien thought the principal's hopes were too high. In all these years, no rare class has appeared in your school. It's already quite good if a high-tier main combat class appears. The principal thought about it and realized it was true, letting out a wry smile. In the entire city of Taihai, only 1 or 2 rare classes appeared each year. I really was hoping for too much. With that, he read the next name, Xiaxue. This Xiaxue was also a student at Taihai, the one who always competed for the #1 spot with Lam Mo. Yu Xiaxue walked up, glancing at Moyu. She muttered, "This lady will show you who the real genius is. Although we're called the twin great geniuses, you've surpassed me from beginning to end. I won't admit defeat." Seeing Xiaxue, the formation grandmaster, Truong Tien assessed that this girl was not bad hearing him. The principal asked why he said that. Truong Tien explained that Xiaxue's spiritual power was twice as strong as an ordinary person's. She would likely change into a mage class. The principal was surprised to hear that a mage isn't that a high-tier main combat class. If she gets a special attribute, it would be a rare class. When Xiaxue entered the class change circle, a strange phenomenon occurred. Her power erupted violently. She changed into a main combat class. Elemental mage, a rare class. The students below saw this and exclaimed in amazement, "Xiaxue is so amazing! Truly a genius, her reputation is well-deserved, an elemental mage. I've heard that after leveling up just 1 forbidden talisman from a divine-level elemental mage can blow away the entire city of Taihai." When she came out, the principal and Truong Tien showered her with praise. "Young lady, you're very talented." Her friends also came over to congratulate her, a main combat class. Hearing everyone praise her, Xiaxue thought to herself that this time she could finally surpass that detestable Lim Moyu. Just as she was feeling smug, Xiaxue was startled to hear, "The next person is Lim Moyu." The main character stepped forward with a cold, expressionless face. The principal immediately asked the formation grandmaster, Master Truong, "What is your assessment of Lim Moyu?" He replied that besides his cold appearance, he didn't see anything special. Hearing this, the principal laughed and said, "We have 2 geniuses at our school. Xiaxue, who just went, is ranked 2nd, and this is Lim Moyu, who is always ranked 1st. Hearing this, Truong Tien replied that academic performance and class change are completely unrelated. The principal should understand well. The principal watched Moyu's departing back, hoping that if he also got a rare class, Taihai's reputation would soar. When Moyu stepped into the class change circle, a strange vision began to appear. A pillar of light shot straight from the ground to the sky, accompanied by a whirlwind, dark clouds and thunder. Outside, everyone saw this scene and felt scared. What's happening? Why has the wind started blowing? Everyone look. There are so many dark clouds in the sky. There was no forecast for rain. This wind is so gloomy and cold. The principal and old Truong Tien were also observing, seeing the strange phenomenon begin. The old principal exclaimed that with such a big commotion it must be a rare class change. "I wonder if it's a main combat or support type." Xiaxue saw this scene and couldn't believe it. Could it be that I've lost again? But this strange phenomenon was much bigger than when she had her class change. Suddenly someone pointed and shouted for everyone to look. There was movement in the dark clouds. From within the clouds, tens of thousands of dark figures with blue eyes descended from the sky. Inside the clouds were terrifying skeletons. Some students below were so scared, they collapsed to the ground, trembling as they felt the killing intent pour down from the clouds. Countless shining skeletons charged towards Lim Moyu's class change circle. Seeing this, Xiaxue also trembled in fear. This was clearly just a strange phenomenon, but there was no way to resist it. As for the main character, he absorbed this power into his body and changed into the main combat class Necromancer, the only hidden class. Looking at the blue flame in his hand, the main character mused to himself, "A hidden class, and a unique one at that. This means, in the whole world, there's only one Necromancer. Unless I die, a second class like this will not appear." This unique hidden class was not only rarer than a rare class, it was even rarer than a legendary class. The students began to gossip. Some thought Lin Moyu was truly amazing because he has a unique hidden class. Others jeered. So what if it's a hidden class? It's not necessarily strong. Throughout history, many people with hidden classes amounted to nothing. Some were afraid of the Necromancer class. Doesn't that mean you have to deal with the dead forever? Since he doesn't like to talk, dealing with the dead is a perfect fit for him. Meanwhile, Lam Mak realized he had obtained the unique hidden class which was much better than he had anticipated. As Lam Mak was about to leave the formation, Grandmaster Truong Thien called out to him. The main character approached and asked, "Senior, do you have any instructions?" Truong Thien wanted to take a look at his skills as he had never seen this hidden class before. The main character told him to wait a moment. Then he opened his attribute panel. The information panel showed Name Lin Moyu class, Necromancer, level 1 strength 10, agility 10 spirit, 20 constitution, 10 equipment, 10 summoning space, brief or 10 skills, summon skeleton, warrior level 1. Skeleton warriors are divided into tiers: iron, black, bronze, brass, silver, white, gold, diamond, legendary. Divine skill. Soul fire level 1A soul flame. Burns the target, causing burn damage based on spiritual power and one's own skills. After reading the information, Lam Mak began to use the summon skeleton skill. His spiritual power dropped by 10 points upon summoning, and a black iron level skeleton was summoned. Black iron skeleton warrior, strength 15, agility 15, spirit 15, constitution 15, skills none. When the surrounding students saw the skeleton warrior appear, they cried out in fear, "Wow, I can't believe Lam Mak summoned the skeleton warrior from the clouds. This time, it's for real." Truong Thien then launched an attack towards Lam Mak and the skeleton, but it only grazed the skeleton slightly. Its two eyes turned red, and information was transmitted. Skeleton warrior detects an attack, counterattack or not. If no choice is made within 10 seconds, it will automatically counterattack. Lin Moyu immediately gestured, ordering the skeleton not to move. Old Truong Thien also praised the skeleton for its high level of awareness. He assessed that he himself was level 52, while Lin Moyu was only level 1. Yet the summoned creature could harbor hostile intent towards him. However, this skeleton warrior only had common attributes. Lin Moyu was only level 1, so it was impossible to tell how strong or weak the class was right now. Perhaps later when he reaches a higher level, this skeleton will also become formidable. Old Truong Thien felt he had tested enough and let Lin Moyu leave. "Thank you. Keep working hard. Perhaps you'll have great prospects in the future." The main character with the skeleton following him walked past his friends who were looking at him in fear. The young man Gao Yang then came out and asked Moyu, "Can I touch it?" After receiving Lin Moyu's consent, Gao Yang approached to take a look. He then asked, "Is this skull formidable?" Lin Moyu also didn't know, so he said, "It's probably more formidable than you." Gao Yang didn't quite believe it, because it looked so tattered and torn. "I don't see how it's formidable at all." It was now Gao Yang's turn for the class change. He said goodbye and left. "Talk to you later." Lin Moyu also retracted his skeleton. He was also surprised to find out that the summoning space could store summoned creatures. Moreover, he could summon them at will without consuming any more spiritual power. The quantity also increased with his level. Moyu started thinking about leveling up during the class change just now. He had seen a true necromancer. One day he would reach a level where he could kill a giant dragon in an instant. Gao Yang had also completed his class change by this time. He got a main combat class, a sword and shield knight, a high-tier class. He laughed and said that in the future, the two of them would raid dungeons together. "I'll block in front of Moyu. If you want to kill me, you'll have to get past Moyu's corpse first." Hearing him say that the main character was speechless with this guy. "You've got that backward. It's more like it." Hearing the main character speak, Gao Yang laughed heartily. "Ha ha ha! You finally opened your mouth to talk. I said it backward on purpose, didn't you notice?" At this time, the principal announced that the class change was over. He encouraged everyone that no matter what class they got, the school would arrange a place for everyone to level up. Tomorrow, the novice upgrade dungeon of Taihai City will open. I hope everyone tries their best to level up and achieve good results in the final exam in 1 week and get into the school you desire. Hearing this, Moyu also calculated that the monsters in the novice dungeon were only level 1 to level 8. The quantity wasn't large and the difficulty was low. It was much safer than hunting in the wild. While he was thinking, the girl Xiaoshui ran over and called out to the main character. She wanted to compete with him. She wanted to compare their achievements to see who was better in their final exam. Lin Moyu just said okay, and left. Xiaoshui wasn't willing to lose after all these years. Even her class change was a loss, but she didn't want to give up. The scene shifts to Lin Moyu's house. He had returned home and was holding a photograph. Staring intently at the photo of his family of 3, his grandmother, his sister, and himself. The main character wanted to share the good news with his grandmother. I've successfully changed my class. I got a super rare hidden class. Sister, wait for me. I will pass the entrance exam to Hakin Academy. While the main character was deep in thought, there was a sudden knock on the door. It turned out to be the principal who had come to give him some things. Moyu, here are some daily necessities, take them first. He also recalled that last year, only Moyu's sister Lam Makham had passed the entrance exam to Hakin Academy. He had promised Moyu's sister that he would take good care of him. Only then did she agree to go to Hakin to enroll. He had to keep his promise. After giving him the things, he reminded him that he had to enter the dungeon tomorrow and to get a good rest, then he left. The main character took the items and thanked him. As the night grew later, Moyu was in his room when the system suddenly appeared, leaving him stunned. System, beginning to transmit information, checking host awakening, Necromancer class meets the requirements of the strongest talent system, binding, beginning to retrieve world data. Optimizing skills, complete. Congratulations to the host for awakening the unique divine grade talent, comprehensive growth, level 1. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the passive skill damage transfer. At this point, the comprehensive growth level 1 skill activated. All skill effects are increased 5-fold. Damage transfer activated. Damage taken by the warlock will be borne by the summoned creature. The main character was also surprised, but it was just too good. Gaining a talent skill and this effective passive skill was completely worthy of being called divine grade. After getting buffed by the system, Moyu began to summon a skeleton warrior. A black iron skeleton was summoned. Strength 75, agility 75, spirit 75, constitution 75, skills none. Moyu saw that the skeleton warrior's attributes had now increased 5-fold. Combined with the damage transfer skill compared to others of the same level, he was now invincible. The next day at the novice upgrade dungeon, everyone had already gathered and been waiting for a while. Gao Yang and Moyu were also present and waiting. Gao Yang asked Moyu if he wanted to form a party with him, but was immediately refused by the main character. Gao Yang angrily called Moyu a stinky brat. Are you looking down on me? This young master is sincerely inviting you to form a party. If you don't agree, you must have a reasonable excuse or I won't let this matter rest. You said he wanted to go solo to level up faster. Partying would slow down his leveling significantly. Xiaoshu also came over and added that Lin Moyu was right. A 2-person party requires similar experience levels based on the experience of our seniors. It's better to go solo below level 10. Only at level 10 and above is it suitable to form a party. At this moment, the old principal also came over and said that besides Xiaozhui and Moyu, all other main combat classes must bring a support class into the dungeon. Don't just think about going solo, you'll understand later. Once in the dungeon, you cannot leave the support class behind. Someone wondered why those two didn't need to bring a support class. The old principal explained that Xiaoshui wanted to get into Hakin Academy. She needed to level up quickly, and besides, Xiaoshui was an elemental mage. As for Lin Moyu, he didn't understand that class. He also wasn't sure about Moyu's combat power. Those of you with support classes can ask Moyu if he agrees to form a party or not. Why don't you just say that those two are the strongest and don't need to form a party? They can easily clear it. Hearing this, the students were hesitant. No one wanted to party with Moyu because they were afraid of his skeleton. Lin Moyu, on the other hand, didn't care much. In his hand, he held a staff that increased spiritual power by 1. He informed the principal that he also wanted to get into Hakin Academy. Hearing this, he was also surprised and said, "Do you know how hard it is to get into Hakin Academy? To get into Hakin Academy, you must be at least level 12 before the exam to be a bit safer, level 15 or higher. Your sister Lam Mac Ham got into Hakin Academy last year based on being level 16. Wanting to reach level 12 in one short week is easier said than done. Reaching level 15 is extremely difficult. The highest level monster in the novice upgrade dungeon is only level 8. It's impossible to reach level 12, not to mention besides level, there are many other conditions that you'll only find out about during the final exam. Hearing the old principal list countless difficulties like this, but Moyu just coldly said, "I have the confidence to do it." He also praised him. "You're quite something," and thought to himself, if this kid has a hidden class, maybe it's possible. Then Xiaozhu and Moyu began to enter the dungeon. Xiaozhu wanted to compete to see who could level up faster. "If you don't say anything, I'll take it as you agree." Moyu was also at a loss with her. Why was she so ill-tempered? Upon arriving at the dungeon, Moyu summoned a skeleton warrior. He recalculated last night he had summoned another skeleton costing 10 spirit power. After a night of meditation, he had recovered 40 points. "Now I'll summon 4 more skulls and see what happens." After summoning them, Moyu ordered the skeletons to search for and destroy monsters. Very quickly, the skeletons successfully found and destroyed a dungeon monster. Defeated Big-Eared Rabbit plus 10 experience. When Moyu received the experience, he noticed that every time a skeleton warrior killed a monster, his experience would increase by 1%. At this rate, he could level up after 100 kills. This efficiency was really high. In just a few minutes, Moyu's experience had already increased by 10%. Very quickly, Moyu reached level 2. His attributes had also increased: strength 20, agility 20, spirit 40, constitution 20, summoning space increased to 20 soul. Fire skill level 2, summon skeleton. Warrior level 2, Moyu proceeded to summon 2 level 2 skeletons. The level 2 skeleton warrior's attributes were 5 times higher. Strength, agility, spirit, and constitution all increased to 125. The number of skeletons had now increased to 8. The monster killing efficiency continued to increase. The skeleton warriors found and destroyed higher-level monsters. Defeated Gray Cat, level 2 plus 20 experience. Defeated Brown Dog, level 3, plus 30 experience. Defeated Blue-Eyed Rat, King level 4, plus 40 experience. Just then a map appeared in Moyu's mind. He hadn't expected such a feature. The tracks of the skeleton warrior's actions could form a map. While he was still studying his features, a monster was suddenly waiting behind him, ready to attack Moyu. Seeing this, he was pleased because he could now test his active skill. He pointed his finger and unleashed soul fire at the gray cat. Thanks to his 5-fold growth skill, he defeated the level 2 cat in just a few seconds. Moyu realized that the spirit system's attack was very strong, surpassing all physical and magical defense skills. The hidden class was truly formidable. Just these 2 skills alone could be so powerful. Even without the Necromancer talent, it would definitely not be weaker than any legendary tier class. After some time, Moyu reached level 3. He then summoned 3 more skeleton warriors, and his experience points increased even faster. The monsters he hunted were now of higher levels. Defeated Blue-Gray, Wolf level 5, plus 50 experience. Defeated Black Panther level 6, plus 60 experience. Before long, Moyu had reached level 4. He calculated that the combat time in the novice dungeon was about 12 hours. 4 hours have passed, and I'm already level 4 at this rate. I can level up again in less than an hour. If I reach level 8, I can go to the outskirts of Taihai City. There are higher-level monsters there. Outside the dungeon, the principal was talking with Ha Dongduang. He was the head of the Ha family and also Xiaohui's father. The principal inquired, "Sir, are you here to visit Xiaohui?" Ha Dongduang thanked the principal. "For the past few years, thanks to your care for Xiaohui." The principal smiled and said he hadn't helped much. It was all Xiaohui's own effort. This class change was extremely successful. You probably already know she got a rare class, an elemental mage. The head of the Ha family replied that because he was too busy yesterday, he couldn't witness Xiaohui's class change firsthand. This time, he couldn't miss Xiaohui's first dungeon. Su Tianxing and Lam Mac Ham were both rare classes before. After participating in the novice dungeon, they were both level 5. This time, Xiaohui will probably reach that level too. He also hoped Xiaohui would achieve that, as she had been very competitive since she was young. The old principal also analyzed that from the first day's leveling speed, One could basically predict the future leveling speed of the kids. If Shashui can't reach level 5 on the first day, it will be difficult for her to get into Hakin Academy. The old principal also wondered what level Lin Moyu could reach. A hidden class probably won't be bad. Now we can only wait. After entering the dungeon, a timer will start for each person. After 12 hours, they will be automatically ejected. We'll see. Then, what level can the kids reach? That's right. I heard that during yesterday's class change at your esteemed school, a hidden class also appeared. The principal was astonished. That's right. Lin Moyu's hidden class is called Necromancer. Even as a principal, I've never seen it. I'm not sure how formidable it is. Moyu's sister is Lin Moyu. If Shajue gets into Hakin Academy, perhaps we can ask Lin Moyu to take care of her. Back inside the novice dungeon, Moyu was leading his army of skeleton warriors to hunt and kill. He found that his skeleton warriors could be at most 500 meters away from him. Within this range, he could safely go AFK and level up. His skeleton warriors were now able to hunt and kill level 7 monsters. Nearly 7 hours had passed, but Moyu still hadn't encountered any level 8 monsters. The monsters below level 8 had been almost completely wiped out by him. Moyu led his group of skeletons to search for level 8 monsters. Suddenly, an attack sent Moyu flying. He was thrown backward. Fortunately, his passive damage transfer skill automatically activated, preventing him from being seriously injured. Moyu looked up at the giant tree in front of him and was happy that he had finally found a level 8 monster, a level 8 ancient tree whip. Normally in a dormant state, it would attack if any creature passed by. Looking at it, Moyu assessed that this level 8 monster was probably on par with a wild monster. Now my skeleton warriors have reached 275. Let's see how many hits this thing can take. With that, you ordered a skeleton to jump in and slash it, but the tree counterattacked and pushed the skeleton back. Moyu, standing outside, was also surprised that the tree wasn't heavily damaged. After a while, he finally defeated the level 8 ancient tree whip, plus 160 experience. Moyu saw that it took 4 slashes for a skeleton to defeat a level 8 monster. This meant his leveling speed would be much slower. But looking back at the entire forest of ancient tree whips in front of him, he smiled. This whole path of hundreds of trees seemed to be specially set up just for him to level up. Moyu ordered his legion of skeletons to jump into the forest to slash and kill. The skeletons slaughtered frantically, causing Moyu's experience to continuously pour in and increase rapidly. Outside the dungeon entrance, everyone was surprised that someone had come out already. They found it strange. The time isn't up yet. How can someone be out? Did something unexpected happen? The old principal knew that the dungeon exit could only be found by passing through a dense forest, which was guarded by level 8 monsters. Could it be that this person fought through it and cleared the novice dungeon? The person who came out was our main character. Seeing this, the old principal asked Moyu, "Why are you out here?" The main character calmly said, "I've killed them all, so I came out." The old principal was even more startled and astonished when he saw that Moyu was already level 7. He reached level 7 in just over 10 hours. How is that possible? Moyu said there were too few monsters in the dungeon. Otherwise, he could have reached level 8. He wanted to ask the old principal for permission to go to the outskirts of Taihai to hunt and level up. The principal was still in shock, as this was the first time he had heard of someone clearing out all the monsters in the novice dungeon, and in just 10 hours at that. He didn't know how Moyu had done it. Is this the power of a necromancer? Seeing the old principal in a daze, Moyu waved his hand to get his attention. The principal finally snapped out of it and agreed with a laugh. "I will now write a city exit permit for Moyu." He told Moyu to rest and wait for the others to come out, then he would take them all back. The people outside found it strange and asked about the situation. "Why is that student out first? Is there a problem?" "That's right. Isn't he injured? He came out all alone." "Where are his teammates?" Hadong Duong also asked the old principal what had just happened. The old principal just smiled and reported that the person who had just come out was Lin Moyu. He cleared the novice dungeon, killing all the level 8 monsters inside. Hearing the old principal's words, everyone was astonished with their mouths agape. As expected of a hidden class, a necromancer. Right now, it can surpass all known rare classes, possibly even rivaling legendary tier classes. The old principal saw great potential in Moyu. If Moyu can get into Hakin Academy, then Hakin Academy will have a headache on their hands. Ha Dongduong was a little worried for Xiaohui because she was always competitive. This incident might be a big blow to her. Hearing this, the old principal laughed loudly, patted Ha Dongduong on the shoulder, and told him not to worry. Xiaohui hasn't just lost this one time. Because you're often at home, you don't know that for years, Moyu's academic performance has always been better than Xiaohui's. She's been second place for 3 years now. Ha Dongduong was also surprised by this. He wondered why Xiaohui hadn't said anything to him. Switching over. Lin Moyu was meditating. He was thinking that the number of skeleton warriors he had summoned had reached 24, but his summoning space had grown to 70 slots. It seemed he would need quite a bit of time to fill it up. At the dungeon entrance, Xiaohui had also come out. She had a happy expression, thinking that this time she would definitely defeat Moyu. She had reached level 5, matching the record for the novice dungeon. I wonder how that Moyu is doing now. As she approached, she saw Moyu already sitting there at the exit. Xiaohui was bewildered, not knowing when he had gotten out. But what horrified Xiaohui even more was that Moyu was already level 7. She was bewildered and couldn't understand. How could Moyu reach level 7? How is that possible? On the other side, Xiaohui's father called for her to get in the car. She was still bewildered, not knowing how Moyu could have leveled up to 7. As soon as she got in the car, Ha Dongduong asked if she was competing with that kid. Moyu, do you need my help? On her end, Xiaohui's face darkened as she said, that guy is too terrifying. For 3 consecutive years, he's been more formidable than me. But Xiaohui didn't need her father's help. She was determined to work hard on her own to defeat Moyu beside her. Her father just smiled and reminded her Moyu only took 10 hours to exit the dungeon, and he killed all the level 8 monsters inside before coming out. Xiaohui's determination was soaring. Hearing that, her eyes widened in bewilderment. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Killed all the level 8 monsters. Xiaohui thought to herself that she had only just reached the level 7 monster area and hadn't even encountered a level 8 monster. Furthermore, Moyu came out 2 hours earlier. If there were a few more monsters, couldn't Moyu have directly leveled up to 8? On the other side, Gao Yang had also just exited the dungeon. Seeing that Moyu had reached level 7, he knelt down and cried, hugging Lin Moyu, and asking how he managed to level up to 7. Gao Yang called Moyu, boss. If you go leveling, can you take me with you? Moyu was at a loss with this guy and had to promise to take him along next time. Hearing Moyu agree, Gao Yang was in a cheerful mood and decided to wait for Moyu at the school gate tomorrow. As promised, the next day, Gao Yang was at the school gate early, but he waited and didn't see Moyu. He then asked the principal why Moyu hadn't arrived yet. He was then told that Moyu had gone to the outskirts of Tai to fight monsters and level up. When Gao Yang found out that Moyu had tricked him, he went crazy, screaming that he wanted to duel with Moyu. The principal on the side told Gao Yang to give up that idea, because even if he fought, he couldn't win. The scene shifts to the Divine Empire's trading post. Moyu began to verify his identity. Successfully verified citizen of the Divine Empire Lam. Moyu permission granted to use the Divine Empire's trading post contribution. 0 authority level 1 after verifying his identity. Moyu searched to see if there were any suitable quests for him. The quest notice board. Buying unlimited quantities of Thang Na grass, purchase price 50 gold coins per portion. Buying unlimited quantities of black wolf pelts, purchase price 20 gold per portion. Buying unlimited quantities of beast bones, purchase price 30 gold per portion. Quest level 14 strategy, Taihai, mine dungeon. Defeat the dungeon boss Robin King's crystal note. The boss only drops a crystal in the nightmare level dungeon, and above quest reward is 10,000 gold. Moyu looked over the quests and found them a bit interesting. With such a high gold reward, the difficulty is probably quite high. Dungeons are divided into normal nightmare, and hell nightmare difficulty is several times harder than normal. Without a strong party, it's basically impossible to beat. As for hell difficulty, it's not for average level players at all. They can't even enter. It seems I can't touch these quests for now. The main character decided to leave the city first and figure it out later. With that thought, he headed to the city gate. Moyu went out and showed his identity certificate to the guard. The guard looked at Lam. Moyu's information, Necromancer level 7. He didn't know what a Necromancer class was, but he wondered what kind of school would agree to let a level 7 student leave the city. After checking, he informed Moyu that his exit permit was valid. From now on, he could freely enter and exit every corner of the Divine Empire. But there are many monsters outside, so you must pay attention to your safety. Be careful in all things, especially at night. If you encounter danger, you can run back. Your life is the most important thing, right? After hearing the guard's words, Moyu thanked him and left. Stepping outside the protective city walls, the surrounding landscape was just a barren wasteland, all dirt and rocks. Moyu observed and assessed that inside and outside the city were like two different worlds. Outside, you could hear the roars of distant monsters. The air also seemed to faintly smell of blood. As he was walking, a goblin suddenly appeared next to him. Moyu just coldly summoned a skeleton warrior and ordered it to eliminate this goblin first. Its information appeared: Goblin Patrol level 10, Strength 120, Agility 50, Spirit 50, Constitution 120, Skills none. Moyu saw that this level 10 goblin standing before a skeleton warrior with 375 in attributes was completely insignificant. Black Iron Skeleton Warrior was summoned level 7. Its stats for Strength, Agility, Spirit, and Constitution were all 375. The goblin jumped and hit the skeleton's head, but it was like throwing salt on stainless steel. It didn't leave a single scratch. The skeleton warrior turned, and with one slash sent the goblin to meet its ancestors. At this moment, a whole troop of goblins also arrived. Seeing this, the main character also sighed that the power of a level 10 monster was just this much mo. You summoned all his skeletons to charge and fight the horde of monsters. The army of skeletons charged in to slaughter the horde of monsters. Moyu stood by, observing the battle, receiving experience and items like goblin bones and wolf pelts. Witnessing this whirlwind leveling speed, he could probably reach level 15 before the university entrance exam. But he wondered how his sister had managed to reach level 16 before entering university. Moyu remembered how much his sister used to care for and worry about him, which made him even more determined to get into Hakken Academy to see her again. After the skeleton army fought for a short while, Moyu had reached level 10. His stats had increased: Strength 100, Agility 100, Spirit 300, Constitution 100, Summoning Space 4100, Number of Skeleton Warriors 40, Talent, Comprehensive Growth level 2, Unique. All skill efficiency increased tenfold. Passive skill, Damage, Transfer active skill, Soul, Fire level 10, Summon Skeleton Warrior level 10, Summon Bronze Skull Warrior. Upon leveling up, Moyu noticed his other attributes didn't increase much. Each level up added 10 points, but his spirit power had reached 300 points, an increase of 120. They say there's a big growth spurt after level 10. As a mage-type class, my biggest change is in spirit power. Moyu also hadn't expected to level up to 10 so quickly. His skills had also become stronger. His skeleton warriors had also upgraded to the bronze tier. Moyu summoned a level 10 bronze skeleton warrior. Its stats for Strength, Agility, Spirit, and Constitution increased to 1500 points. Skill Berserk Strike, level 1. Deals 200% damage to the target with a 10-minute cooldown. Observing the bronze skeleton warrior, Moyu saw that not only were its stats superior, but it also had an active skill. Now that I have a bronze warrior, I can walk tall in this whole area. But now the problem is, all the monsters in this area have been wiped out by Moyu. While he was still thinking, an arrow suddenly shot out from nowhere. Although Moyu dodged, he couldn't completely evade it, and the arrow still pierced his shoulder. Passive skill, Damage Transfer, has activated. Having avoided a fatal blow, the bronze skeleton saw its master being attacked and drew its weapon, preparing to fight. Moyu turned and saw a masked person running by. He thought this person had attacked him, but looking closer, it probably wasn't, as the runner was likely an assassin class. The one who attacked him was likely an archer class. He let the other person run past him. Then he observed two more people running up from behind. When Moyu saw the person behind holding a bow, he knew this was the group that had just shot the arrow. The two who had just arrived were furious because they let the assassin escape. The archer asked, "Moyu kid, did a guy in black just run past here?" Moyu just coldly turned, pulled out the arrow, and said, "Your arrow hit me. Apologize." The archer immediately apologized mockingly. He looked at Mo, Yu wondering why he was hit by his arrow but didn't seem hurt at all. Moyu also didn't care and said, "Don't let it happen again." The archer thought, "This kid, does he not know I'm in a really bad mood right now and he still talks like that?" The other guy's face turned cold when he saw Moyu's skeleton warrior. He grimaced and said, "An immortal summoned monster. Only the disgusting class of potential criminals with dark minds can awaken and summon this kind of immortal monster. This kid is definitely not a good person." Seeing his comrade about to make a move, the archer stopped him, telling him not to cause trouble. He angrily said, "I know." After speaking, the two of them left. Watching their departing backs, Moyu considered these two lucky. If they had really dared to attack, he would have definitely made them pay 100 times over, because his hand was already prepared to attack. The scene shifts to Moyu sitting on a rock ledge. His skeleton warrior was off slaughtering the monsters nearby. Moyu sat there, finding the experience he gained to be too little. After reaching level 10, the required experience had tripled. Now he had to kill 5,000 goblins to level up just once. Even though his skeleton warriors didn't get tired, he wasn't sure if he could even reach level 11 after fighting all night. Moyu made a decision. Since time was now limited, he would not return to the city. To get into Hakken Academy, I must work harder than others. Night had fallen. Moyu had arrived somewhere in the forest, lit a fire, and sat down to rest. A stream of thoughts came to him. He saw that at his current speed he could reach level 13 tomorrow. Whether he could reach 15 the day after was still unclear. After level 15, the leveling speed would slow down. Losing a day to travel back, calculating it out, the highest he could reach now was level 16. The more he calculated, the more he wondered how his sister had leveled up so fast. Before, even though it's a legendary class, her leveling speed couldn't have surpassed mine. I must have missed something. Then he suddenly remembered the Tae High Mine dungeon. Could it be that she formed a party and got more experience in the nightmare level dungeon? That's why she came back injured that time. My guess is probably right. Moyu clenched his fist, determined to go there tomorrow and check it out. Having cleared his thoughts, Moyu was meditating to recover his spirit power when someone suddenly approached and broke a tree, causing him to glance over. He guessed it was someone coming to level up, but not many people went out to level up in the middle of the night. Or maybe this person is lost. Suddenly, the person who arrived was the female assassin who had fled that morning. She walked over and immediately asked Moyu if he had anything to eat. Even reincarnated, his weakness for girls hadn't changed. Moyu immediately gave her his potato. Seeing the food, she happily took it. Then she pulled down her mask, revealing a very beautiful face. She didn't care about anything and ate like a hungry tiger. Moyu, watching from the side, wondered if this person was about to starve to death. Because she was eating too fast, she choked Moyu beside her, immediately handed her a water bottle. She snatched the water bottle and chugged it down, finishing all his water. After eating and drinking her fill, she finally turned to thank Moyu and asked for his name. Moyu just glanced at her, but said nothing. Seeing this, the girl said, "You don't like to talk, huh? All right then, let's use the probe skill." The two began to touch fingertips. After a moment, Moyu found that his probe skill was ineffective. He couldn't get any information. The girl laughed and said, "You can't see anything, can you?" But she could see Moyu's information. When she saw he was a necromancer, she was suspicious because she had never heard of this class before. She remembered seeing the skeleton next to Moyu in the afternoon. She asked if that was Moyu's summon. An immortal summon is extremely rare. She kept talking, but seeing that Moyu didn't say anything, she asked, "Why aren't you saying anything? Don't tell me you're mute, but you don't look like it." Moyu then asked, "Why?" Hearing Moyu speak, she finally laughed and said, "So you can talk, huh?" Moyu didn't say anything other than why. She laughed and said, "What Moyu means is, why was the probe skill ineffective?" "It's because of this." Then she took out a shield-shaped badge and explained that as long as she carried it, anyone whose level was 10 levels lower than hers would have their probe skill rendered ineffective. After speaking, she deactivated the badge's function and told Moyu to try using his probe skill again. Moyu began to use his probe skill. Very quickly, the girl's information appeared. Name Ning Yi, Class Night Assassin, Level 19. At this moment, both of them sensed that someone had arrived. Nearby, 3 people had appeared. 2 were the people Moyu had met in the afternoon, plus another person. Ning Yi stood up. She was annoyed because this group was too persistent. Isn't it just a mid-tier skill scroll? They've been chasing me for days and still won't give up. She told Moyu she was leaving. If there's a chance in the future, I'll come find you. As she was speaking, an arrow shot towards her. She quickly dodged it. The arrow stuck in a tree and lit up, emitting a red light that surrounded the 2 of them. Seeing this, Ning Yi said, "This is troublesome. This is a marking arrow." Moyu stood watching, assessing the archer's anti-stealth arrow skill. This skill can mark a target, making them easier to see. Moreover, they cannot enter a stealth state. It's specifically designed to counter assassins who know stealth skills and some stealth monsters. It seems this group came prepared. The mage came out laughing and said, "You're not getting away this time, boy. I knew you 2 were accomplices. A filthy assassin like a rat combined with an immortal summoner, evil and gloomy. Truly, a match made in heaven." At this point, the 2 of them were surrounded. Seeing this, Ning Yi spoke up. "He has nothing to do with this. I'll give you the skill scroll, and then we'll go our separate ways." The smug archer in the tree immediately said, "If it were a day earlier, there'd be no problem. But now, we feel the safest option is to kill you both. The dead can't talk. No one will ever know we have a mid-tier skill scroll." Ning Yi then calculated that Moyu was only level 10. She couldn't involve him in her troubles. She then said, "In a moment, I'll hold them off while you run away." Moyu asked, "What about you?" Ning Yi smiled and said, "I'm a night assassin. The night is my home turf. I'll find my own way to escape." Hearing her say that, Moyu thought to himself, if she could beat them, she wouldn't have had to flee during the day. Clearly, the opponents are stronger, not to mention she's been hit by a marking arrow and her stealth skill is also ineffective. The archer then shouted loudly, "The night is long and full of dreams. Let's not waste any more time. Make your move." The mage began to cast a spell. His staff lit up as he laughed and said, "Today, not only do you have to die, but the kid with you has to die too." The mage unleashed his spell Illumination. As he cast the spell, he thought, illumination isn't just for lighting things up. It can also dispel darkness and increase the accuracy of my spells. Importantly, illumination can also counter an assassin's stealth. You thief, you're dead for sure this time. Ning Yi immediately drew her dagger. She knew she had to risk her life now. The group of 3 was ready to fight. The 3 of them prepared to attack Moyu and Ning Yi from 3 directions. Moyu then waved his hand and summoned a skeleton warrior. The mage saw him summon the skeleton and cursed. Damn it, what a waste of effort. An immortal summon, it really makes one sick. He then launched a level 20 magic fireball at Moyu. He thought this attack would blast the 2 of them into dust. Seeing the attack, Ning Yi panicked and wanted to pull Moyu out of the way, but her feet had been bound by a spirit thread, without her knowing. The archer in the tree seized the opportunity and shot 3 arrows in a volley with triple the attack power. Seeing these 3 arrows, Ning Yi knew things were not good. She wanted to push Moyu away to block the 3 arrows herself, but to her astonishment, the fireball had already flown and engulfed Moyu. Suddenly, 2 skeleton warriors appeared from the shadows next to Ning Yi. In front, one skeleton stood to block the fireball. Next to Ning Yi, another skeleton used its sword to parry all 3 arrows. The shield bearer was hit by a skeleton warrior's axe and sent flying backward. The skeleton hit by the fireball was unscratched. It slowly walked out of the large burning flame, holding 2 axes looking terrifying, which made the mage disbelieving. How is this possible? The probe skill shows Moyu is just a level 10 necromancer. He panicked and shouted for the skeleton not to come near him. Until now, he didn't understand why, as a level 21 mage, he couldn't kill this level 10 skeleton. His 2 comrades were just as stunned, not knowing what was going on. Their skills were completely ineffective against the skeleton warriors. Why are the stats of these skeleton monsters so high? Green flames began to appear around these men, surrounding them, and then troops of skeletons appeared. Like the god of death, they surrounded everyone in a circle of death. Ning Yi was also agape, her eyes wide. Are these the skeleton warriors I saw before? They looked so tattered, but they're this strong. Is this the summoned monster of a level 10 mage? Even a level 20 archer and mage can't harm them, and why are there so many of them? Thinking of this, Ning Yi suddenly remembered Moyu. She looked up at him. Only then did she realize she had greatly underestimated the man standing next to her. Though only level 10, he was terrifyingly powerful. Moyu's eyes flashed with killing intent as he shouted one word, "Kill." All the skeleton warriors immediately took up their weapons and charged at the group. The skeletons were as numerous as a whole legion of the undead. The mage chanted a spell creating a purple protective circle that enclosed him inside. The skeletons charged and slashed straight at it. After just a few slashes, his weak protective layer shattered. This guy, being level 20 after all, still struggled fiercely before dying. He unleashed the Hellfire skill, blowing the skeletons away. But he never expected that as one layer was blown away, another would charge in. 2 other skeletons swiftly charged, killing this pathetic mage with a single sword strike. The archer also had to flee for his life from the pursuing skeletons. This archer's agility attribute was 1000, yet he still couldn't shake off Moyu's skeleton, because this skeleton simply had an agility stat of 1500. As for the defending knight, thanks to his ultimate charge skill, his defense could barely withstand the slashes of the skeletons. But this was one of the core skills of a knight. For a short period, his defense would increase dramatically. A level 20 knight using this skill could withstand attacks from a level 40 mage. A knight who has mastered the ultimate defense skill and a knight who hasn't are like 2 different classes. But even with this skill, the knight now regretted it. If he had known Moyu was so terrifying, he wouldn't have come to die just for a mid-tier skill scroll. Moyu mobilized all his undead to stop the knight. If you're going to kill, you have to kill them all. He immediately activated the Berserk Strike skill. As a result, the skeletons with this skill were buffed to deal 200% damage to the target, so they charged in, slashing relentlessly. The ultimate defense could last for 1 minute, but the more intense the attacks it endured, the shorter the duration would become. Finally, the defense shattered in front of the knight. At this moment, it was nothing but hell. For Moyu, it was either do nothing or show no mercy, seeing it through to the end. And so he was sent to reunite with the other 2 in the afterlife. Moyu learned this trait because he had heard his sister's advice. Either don't do it at all, or once you do, show no mercy. Ning Yi witnessed it all, astonished to see those 3 scumbags were all dead, while Moyu hadn't even budged an inch. After a job class user dies, the items in their storage space will also drop. Moyu went forward to look and saw a bronze tier Kaimon staff. It increases spirit by 20 points and skill power by 5%. It can only be used at level 18 and above. The Kaimon bow, Kaimon shield, and Kaimon sword were the same. Although all these items were useless to Moyu, he could collect them to sell for some money. Additionally, there was a basic skill scroll that could grant a skill below level 20, according to Ning Yi. This skill scroll wasn't worth much. Even if he was short on money, Moyu shouldn't sell it. Seeing this, Moyu knew that Ning Yi probably came from an extraordinary family, treating money like dirt. A skill scroll worth 10,000 coins is nothing. However, Moyu also intended to use this skill scroll. To use it, you just had to hold the skill scroll and say, "Use." He immediately did so, but nothing happened. Everything remained silent as a grave. She continued to trick Moyu, telling him he had to speak louder. But he knew Ning Yi was teasing him. He had to infuse spirit power into it to use the skill scroll. Moyu immediately infused his spirit power and obtained the corpse explosion skill. Detonating a corpse deals 10% damage to enemies within a 1-meter radius. However, in the eyes of a necromancer, corpses also have life. Although this skill was quite weak considering Moyu's talent after being buffed, the damage could reach a 10-meter radius. And as long as there was a corpse to detonate, he could continue to deal damage to surrounding enemies. This was a rather useful area of effect attack skill for Moyu. Because he had the talent system, almost all his skills became godlike skills. As Moyu was studying his new skill, a chirpy voice kept nagging in his ear. It was Ning Yi. She asked him how it went and if he learned any new skills. He replied that he had. Then she praised Moyu's voice, saying it was a shame he didn't compete in a comedy challenge show. Being praised. Moyu felt happy. He felt this girl was different from the girls at school. He couldn't help but compliment her back. Ning Yi's voice is nice too. Hearing this, Ning Yi was also pleased. She thanked Moyu for saving her and for complimenting her, so she gave him the box. It contained a mid-tier skill scroll, which could be learned from level 40 to 70. It was worth 1 million gold coins, or even more. Moyu took it and wondered was she being hunted because of this mid-tier skill scroll, but why is she just giving it away now? Ning Yi also explained the reason she got the box. She found a serendipitous treasure chest in the barracks of the Kaimon Beastman Legion in Trio High City. This type of treasure chest appears randomly. Just as it was discovered, Ning Yi opened it and obtained the mid-tier skill scroll. Unexpectedly, she was seen by the group that had been chasing her. They wanted to snatch this skill scroll. So even though I don't value this skill scroll, I hate the attitude of those robbers. So I refused to hand it over. And so a chase ensued until she met Moyu, and it ended. Besides, Ning Yi wasn't worried at all, because if she was hit in a vital spot, she would be automatically teleported away. However, Ning Yi still thanked Moyu. Otherwise, even if she didn't die, she would have been seriously injured. You should know that getting injured hurts a lot. And I'm very afraid of pain, even though I'm an assassin Mo. Yu became even more certain that this was definitely some rich young lady. That's why she had such a protective treasure. She's probably bored of being rich, so she's out adventuring for fun. After giving Moyu the skill scroll, Ning Yi demanded more food because she was about to starve to death. Moyu also gave her the sweet potato. As Ning Yi ate, she guessed that Moyu was here to grind levels. You probably haven't joined any academy yet, right? Then she found out from Moyu that he planned to get into Hakin Academy. Hearing this, Ning Yi asserted confidently that Moyu wouldn't fail. Because who else at level 10 can beat up level 20s so easily and even fight 1 against 3? Like you. If you fail the exam, probably no one will pass. Then Ning Yi advised Moyu that if he studied at Hakin, he should remember to go to their Tower of Gods, because the first challenge would double the rewards. If Moyu tries to climb as high as possible, that would be for the best. That way, you'll get a lot of accumulated points at Hakin Academy. Accumulated points are more useful than money. Also, within Hakin, there is the Luminous God Institute. If you can get in, you must get in. After talking for a while, Ning Yi fell asleep without realizing it. Moyu meditated to restore his spirit power. The next morning, as soon as she woke up, Ning Yi had already swiped all of Moyu's sweet potatoes to eat. After that, she said goodbye to Moyu and ran off to level up. Truly, being a sucker for girls could only lead to starvation. He gave away all his food. A little later, he could only eat bones and wind. After Ning Yi left, Moyu also decided to test his new skill. When he used Corpse Explosion, the 3 bodies of last night's robbers all burst into flames at once. Then, they exploded in a chain reaction. For Moyu, after being buffed by his talent, the explosion radius of Corpse Explosion was larger and had a 360-degree no-blind spot range. Truly a god-tier skill for annihilating corpses. After testing it, Moyu decided to go to the Taihai Mine dungeon to see if he could pick up anything. Currently, Moyu needed 70 spirit power points to summon 1 bronze skeleton, but he only had 300 spirit power points. Now, meditating all last night was only enough to recover enough to summon 4. The current summoning space had increased to 48,100 for the number of skeletons, but Moyu wasn't in a hurry. Sooner or later, he would fill that space. Before long, Moyu and his legion of skeletons were standing before the entrance to the Taihai Mine dungeon. Outside the dungeon, there were many people. They were gathering to form parties to challenge the dungeon together. Moyu, with a skeleton carrying a sword following behind, slowly approached, his demeanor as cold as ever. Seeing him approach, everyone also noticed his skeleton. Moyu walked up to the system panel to choose the difficulty. Although there was no hell difficulty, the normal difficulty of this dungeon already had elite monsters. Compared to the monsters outside, they were several times stronger. In nightmare difficulty, there were enhanced elite monsters, making it even harder. Normally challenging, the normal difficulty required a shield warrior, a mage, and a healer, forming a 3-person party. Nightmare difficulty required at least 5 people to form a team, 2 supports and 2 attackers to even enter. A guy came up to greet him and used a probe skill on Moyu, but he was startled when the skeleton looked at him with glowing red eyes. The probe skill was also useless because Moyu was using the shielding badge. Right after that, countless awakeners came over trying to recruit Moyu to join their teams, but Moyu as usual refused them all. Then he chose the nightmare difficulty for the dungeon. After confirming, he was immediately teleported into the dungeon all by himself. Everyone there couldn't believe their eyes, thinking Moyu was too arrogant and would pay a heavy price. Now they could only wait outside for a bit to see if Moyu would survive and come back out. I probed him, but I didn't see any phenomenon. I also don't know what his class is. Many people look scary like that, but are actually as weak as a chicken. What then? Meanwhile, inside the Taihai mine, Dungeon Moyu had entered and could smell the thick scent of blood. In front of Moyu was a goblin. As soon as he stepped out of the protective circle, he would be discovered. The goblin's information appeared: a level 14 monster, an elite type with higher stats than normal monsters. This meant its defense and attack power were also higher than normal. Without a cooperative party, ordinary job class users basically couldn't pass the nightmare-level dungeon. But it was different for Moyu. The stats of the monsters here were still far inferior to his skeletons. Moyu summoned his skeletons and prepared for the challenge. It didn't take long for the goblin to be quickly and neatly eliminated by the skeletons. Experience gained 4,200, 10 times higher than monsters of the same level outside. Just when I needed to grind levels, I found a sweet spot like this. Killing one here is like killing 10 outside. Moyu, as usual, ordered his legion of skeletons to hunt down and slaughter all the monsters in here. No corner, no path was left untouched, and so notifications of monster kills and item acquisitions continuously rang out. Just 5 minutes later, Moyu had reached level 11. He immediately summoned 4 more skeletons. The current count was now 56,110 in his summoning space. After level 10, the stat increases were much more significant. Before, each level added 10 stat points, but now it was 20 points. Consequently, the attributes and strength of the skeletons also increased dramatically, along with Moyu. However, the corpse explosion skill was still level 1 and hadn't increased. He wondered about it and remembered Ning Yi. If she were here, she would probably know why. While he was still wondering and thinking, a Wolf King monster, an elite leader with a howling skill, was approaching Moyu with a terrifyingly powerful presence. Seeing it, Moyu realized that if even the leader monster's attributes were this formidable, the final boss of the dungeon would be even stronger. Although the Wolf King's attributes were higher than the skeletons, unfortunately for it, Moyu played with quantity over quality. How could it withstand a group beatdown? He ordered the whole group to charge and attack the Wolf King. The Wolf King used its howl to push back the skeletons, but there were too many. He also used the Berserk Strike skill, increasing the skeleton's damage by 200%. The wolf's body was also large, making it an easy target for the skeletons to slash. The wolf still used its howl to fight back fiercely, then it fled and disappeared. As expected of a nightmare dungeon, even the monster leader can run away. Then Moyu felt something was not right, and ordered all the skeletons to return. At this moment, a large, ferocious pack of Mo wolves was approaching. These wolves were level 14 with a tearing bite skill. Their individual stats weren't strong, but their sheer numbers, over 100 of them, made up for it. A normal job class user, even with a 5-person party, would have no way to deal with so many ferocious wolves. But for Moyu, the Necromancer, they were just a pile of experience points. He ordered his skeletons to charge in and slash. After the skeletons were done, he then used Corpse Explosion to blow up the entire pack. After being enhanced by his talent, the damage from Corpse Explosion would turn into 100% life force damage to the wolves, and so it went explosion after explosion. The result was a slaughter, delivering a mountain of experience points to Moyu. Only the Wolf King was left, and it was no exception. It exploded instantly. Moyu obtained the Wolf King title and a low-level monster crystal, but the experience, like from the previous wolves, was only 15,000. After defeating the Wolf King, Moyu continued onward. At this rate, if he cleared the path in one go, he could meet the final boss. Moyu concluded that in the future, if he soloed hell-level dungeons, the experience would be much more. As for this dungeon, it only took him over an hour to level up once, with this efficiency after a few more runs. Forget level 16, he could even reach 19. He thought to himself, "Sister, we will meet again soon." And so Moyu went straight to the boss's location. It was the Goblin King, a level 16 leader-class monster with skills like Fire Breath, Sweep, and Pushback. Moyu approached and said loudly, "It's time to eat, big fella, wake up, buddy, but I'll be the one eating what you cook." The boss immediately woke up, opened its eyes, and swung its blade straight at Moyu. Although he was hit, Moyu wasn't hurt at all because of damage transfer. However, one slash from it shattered a skeleton. Just one hit destroyed 2 skeleton warriors. Clearly, at this moment, Moyu himself was the weak point of his immortal army. His constitution attribute was too weak, only 120 points, incomparable to the 3,000 points of the Goblin King. The damage he took was naturally much heavier than what his skeleton warriors took. It seems Moyu will have to train his physical constitution a lot in the future. The boss quickly started slashing at the skeletons. The skeletons couldn't face the boss head-on. If one-on-one didn't work, then it was time for a group fight. To avenge the 2 skeletons that were just destroyed, Moyu summoned his entire formation of level 11 undead to fight the level 16 boss. If this continued, the boss would be tormented to death by Moyu's immortal skeleton army. The small skeletons swarmed and slashed relentlessly at the Goblin King boss. It immediately used pushback. This powerful skill sent all of Moyu's skeletons flying. This pushback skill was much stronger than the Wolf King's howl. Then the Goblin King used flame eruption, spewing fire and continuously attacking the skeletons. Moyu immediately recalled the skeletons being hit by the fire, summoning them back to his summoning space. While the Goblin King was breathing fire and not paying attention to Moyu, he used soul fire to attack the Goblin King's eyes and face. The boss cried out in pain, clutching its face. Moyu had successfully interrupted the boss's skill, but Moyu's spirit power was limited. Seizing this opportunity was the only way to kill the boss. So he ordered his skeleton army to use the Berserk Strike skill. All the skeletons charged and stabbed at the boss, and in the end, the boss was defeated. Shortly after Moyu had also leveled up to 12, he received a bronze tier weapon, the Goblin Dagger and bronze tier armor, the Mage's Wisdom Treasure, and the Goblin King's Crystal. To maintain the soul fire, Moyu's spirit power had also been depleted, but since he had just leveled up, it had also recovered. Moyu took stock of his loot. He put on the armor, which helped with spirit and constitution, plus 110 points each, and reduced mage skill cooldown by 5%. Although a necromancer is considered a mage class, Moyu's skills and a mage's skills are not the same. If there's no cooldown, this treasure seems to have no effect. As for the crystal, it could be exchanged for 10,000 gold coins, which was worth much more than the other 2 pieces of equipment. After leveling up, his spirit power was fully restored. Moyu immediately summoned 4 more skeleton warriors into his summoning space. It was now 6110. His spirit power was now 510. Then Moyu teleported outside. Everyone outside who was watching the show was surprised to see the Mage's Wisdom Treasure on Moyu. Seeing it, everyone coveted it, but they couldn't believe that Moyu, so young and alone, could solo the Nightmare Dungeon. But who said Moyu was alone? This guy always used group tactics, having his underlings do the fighting. Moyu found a place to rest, waiting for the dungeon's 12-hour cooldown, because fighting wild monsters gave too little experience. Killing 10 of them wasn't even equal to killing 1 in the dungeon. This dungeon run not only helped Moyu find his own weaknesses, but also helped him understand the range of his skills. The corpse explosion skill was very useful. Truly an unparalleled area of effect skill. Soulfire could not only interrupt an inattentive enemy's skill, but its spirit attack was also extremely powerful. Even a nightmare-level boss would have a hard time withstanding it. Moyu rested for 12 hours, and his spirit power had almost completely recovered. He could summon 4 more skeleton warriors. Once again, Moyu returned to the dungeon, intending to grind more levels. Along the way, he saw many people resting. They were here and very well prepared, which made Moyu admire their experience in the wild. But when he reached the dungeon entrance, a chaotic brawl was happening. But he didn't understand what was going on. Getting closer, he realized it was caused by the tyrannical members of the King's Dynasty Guild. They looked down on everyone and didn't let anyone enter the dungeon. What was more, this dungeon didn't even belong to the King's Dynasty Guild. The reason was that their vice-guild leader was completing a quest inside the dungeon. Before his quest was finished, they couldn't let anyone enter the dungeon. Anyone who dared to be noisy or voice an opinion would be dealt with by them. They could even casually kill people. To them, these job class users were too lowly. Killing a few wouldn't weaken society. The King's Dynasty Guild looked down on others so much that they challenged anyone with guts. "Come to our guild for revenge. You're welcome anytime." Moyu approached. "What's going on, brothers? Move aside. Let me take a look." A person who had previously invited Moyu to his team told him everything he recognized. Moyu as the great master who soloed dungeons. The story was that the King's Dynasty Guild needed the Goblin King's crystal, and the drop rate for this crystal was very low. Only the nightmare-level dungeon had a chance to drop it, and it only dropped once every 100+ days. Today happened to be 100 days after the last drop, so they wanted to go all out to get it. Right now, their vice guild leader was doing a quest inside, so they weren't letting anyone in. Furthermore, most of the quests on the trading post were issued by the King's Dynasty Guild, but no one had completed them. That crystal was worth at least 30,000 gold coins, but they were only buying it for 10,000. Only a fool would sell to them. Hearing this, Moyu remembered he had picked up a beast crystal yesterday. He then asked what it was used for. The other person said, "The Goblin King's crystal can be used by alchemists to craft the Demon King's ring, which increases all attributes by 10. All skills are upgraded by 1 level. It can be used at level 15. It's known as the strongest piece of jewelry below level 40. Moyu also marveled that such strong attributes were truly formidable. For a novice job class user, it was like a gift from the gods. The guy continued, "I heard the vice leader of the King's Dynasty wants to get into Hakin Academy, so he must get this piece of equipment." After hearing this, Moyu continued on his way, entering the dungeon, to cultivate paying no mind to that guild. Whoever blocked him, his skeleton would beat them up. Moyu walked straight up to the King's Dynasty members blocking the dungeon entrance. He used the gaze of a death god on the group. "Get out of the way. You are disturbing my leveling." The leader of the King's Dynasty kicked away a guy he had just taken down. "Kid, did a goblin smash your brain? Do you know who you're talking to?" Moyu, with that same death god gaze, said, "Move." The King's Dynasty guy used his divine sense and saw that Moyu was a level 12 necromancer. He smugly realized he was just a chick. A level 12 can go fight wild monsters. "What are you doing in a dungeon, kid? Necromancer never heard of it." The people outside also advised Moyu to quickly go back outside. The bastards from King's Dynasty. Don't listen to reason, they really kill people. Suddenly, the leader of the King's Dynasty also started to get scared. He was afraid of that death. God gaze from Moyu. It gave him a sense of unease, and he seemed to have no fear of his guild at all. He could only threaten Moyu. "If you dare take one more step, I'll kill you like those guys." But Moyu knew no fear. Whoever blocked his path, he would sweep them aside and make a new path. And so he stepped forward, summoning a skeleton to advance and attack. That guy was Trio Cat, a level 25 mage. He once again unleashed his defensive skill and shouted, "You, level 12, brat. Even if I stand still and let you hit me, you won't be able to break my energy shield. If the prey lies still waiting for death, the skeleton will just slash away the energy shield of Trio." Cat could withstand 5 attacks from a warrior of the same level, but after one slash from the skeleton, the shield began to crack. On the second hit, the skeleton added a berserk strike, increasing damage by 200%. Trio. Cat saw this wasn't good. If he was hit again, the shield would shatter, and he would surely die. So he launched a counterattack using a fire ring to push the skeleton away. Then he ordered the King's Dynasty members behind him to attack Moyu, so the two sides charged into a melee with each other. Another knight hit by a skeleton realized that if they just killed the summoner, the skeletons would disappear, so the archer team immediately aimed and shot at Moyu. Arrows flew towards where Moyu was standing. Seeing this, everyone shouted for him to be careful. As for Moyu, he simply summoned more undead to block the attack. Seeing this, the guild members were stunned. It wasn't just one skeleton. Moyu could summon many more, so Trio Cat had to unleash his Raging Fire Serpent skill. This was a rare skill that only a level 20 mage could learn. Only 1/3 of mages could master the Raging Fire Serpent. The strongest attack skill of a mage fireball shot straight at the skeletons and Moyu, but it was useless. The skeletons blocked all of his attacks. Then they charged again in even greater numbers, even outnumbering the King's Dynasty group. Trio Cat ordered the King's Dynasty party to form up and face the enemy. They were buffed with enhanced strength, enhanced agility, enhanced spirit, enhanced speed, and soul. They had both support and rich experience coordinating well with each other, confident that the King's Dynasty Guild was invincible. He said that, but Trio Cat's face was now visibly pale. He didn't understand how a level 12 mage could be so strong. Moyu turned back and told everyone to move back a bit. Then he used Soul Fire and prepared to fight. He immediately attacked an archer from the King's Dynasty. Although he had support using a healing spell, the result was still being burned to death. Simply put, Moyu's fire burned the soul and couldn't be extinguished normally. Seeing this, Trio Cat began to panic, feeling his legs start to tremble. Could the King's Dynasty Guild really be wiped out by one person? Then he ordered everyone to focus their attacks. A knight stepped forward to block. He used ultimate defense, but was immediately hit by a skeleton's berserk. Strike One's sword strike shattered his protective layer. Right after the protective layer shattered, that guy was also fed a soul fire. Trio Cat on the side was so scared he couldn't do anything. He just shouted, "It's over. Only heaven can save us now." Watching his comrades being burned and slashed, he ordered the remaining people to flee quickly because he thought Moyu was no longer human. But after picking a fight with Moyu they think they could just run away. It wasn't that easy. He ordered his skeletons to continue killing them all. The skeletons went on a frantic skewering spree, then Moyu added his corpse explosion skill. With an effective range of up to 10 meters, the area erupted in flames. Using a knight's corpse provided the largest explosive damage. Coincidentally, the King's Dynasty had many knights. As soon as one died, another bomb would attack the remaining people. Their screams echoed mournfully. Trio Cat was so scared that his face turned pale. Fear to the extreme. Moyu walked straight to the dungeon gate. He casually wiped the remaining blood from his face as if nothing had happened. He detonated Trio Cat's corpse one more time. This time, surely no one from the King's Dynasty was left alive. Witnessing that scene, everyone outside was terrified. There's really no one left. Annihilating the bodies is truly ruthless. The King's Dynasty Guild won't let this rest. Given the personality of the King's Dynasty Guild, they certainly won't spare anyone, not even the onlookers. So the whole crowd fled the place immediately, as there was no one from the guild left to see anything. Half an hour later, the vice leader of the King's Dynasty came out. He still hadn't obtained the Goblin King's crystal, but he was bewildered when he couldn't see Trio Cat's group anywhere. They had all disappeared. The vice leader wondered if Trio Cat's group had fled. Why is no one here? Something must have happened. With the strength of Trio Cat's group, they're a dominant presence in this area. How could anything have happened to him? And if there was a fight, why are there no traces here? Then he had everyone leave, immediately thinking some danger might befall him. An hour later, Moyu was still inside the dungeon, hunting and killing monsters. Inside the dungeon, he leisurely sat reading a book, letting his skeletons do the work for him. After killing the Goblin King as expected, he only received experience and items, but the crystal didn't drop again. Moyu thought that once he got to Hakin Academy, he would find an alchemist to craft this crystal into a ring. For now, he had obtained a magic book that allowed him to flexibly and effectively use soul fire and corpse explosion, but it was ineffective on his skeleton warriors. After defeating the boss, Moyu prepared to leave, which was also when he reached level 13. The next dungeon run will be at level 14. To reach level 15, I'll probably need 3 more runs. Calculating the time to reach level 16, I'll need to clear the dungeon 5 more times in total. Level 16 is a bit lower than I expected, but it should be enough to get into Hakin Academy. With that thought, he teleported outside. As soon as he got out, Moyu saw that no one was left. He thought, that's right, leaving was the best choice for those rogue cultivators. The dungeon is closed now, so Moyu decided to come back tomorrow. The next day, Xiaxue also came to this dungeon. She was now a level 10 elemental mage, but as soon as she arrived, she spotted Moyu. Xiaxue recognized him immediately as only Moyu had skeletons. Seeing that Moyu intended to solo the dungeon by himself, she was astonished, but still refused to admit defeat. As a rare class mage, she could easily find a party to enter the dungeon with. You just wait. 45 minutes later, Moyu was once again in front of the Goblin King Bai. Now Moyu had 72 skeletons. Upon arriving, Moyu once again had to play the role of a mother calling her oversized goblin child to wake up. It's time for your beating, son. Why sleep so much? What's the point of waking up just to get beaten? Let it sleep and die in peace. After beating up the creature, Moyu collected the items and experience. He also played the role of a reluctant person comforting the boss. Don't be sad, little one. I'll only come a few more times, then I won't come anymore. You're fated to be beaten anyway, so it doesn't matter who does it. Getting beaten by me is a little faster, less painful, isn't it? Actually, I don't want to beat you either, but I have no choice. It's for leveling up. With that said, he teleported outside again and sat waiting for the dungeon to reset. 12 hours later, hey, I'm here again. Time to wake up and get beaten. Don't be scared. I'll only come 3 more times, then I won't come anymore. This time, Mo. You obtained the Goblin King's staff. Mo, you had also reached level 14. The number of skeletons also rose to 76, and his attributes reached 2300. Unfortunately, the skeleton warrior's skills were too monotonous and not powerful enough. While Mo Yu was resting, Xiaxue arrived. She had also just come out of the dungeon covered in dirt. She asked Mo Yu what level he was. When she learned that Mo Yu was level 14 while she was only level 11, she felt hopeless. Stunned, she didn't know how he could level up so fast. I'm exhausted and almost dead from running normal dungeons, and I only reached level 11. Mo Yu is already level 14. He's a monster. Xiaxue didn't believe it. Even if Mo Yu went solo, it couldn't be that fast. The novice dungeon is 2 levels apart. Up here, it's 3 levels apart. The gap is getting bigger and bigger. So Xiaxue limped off to find another party to grind levels, determined not to lose to Mo Yu, even if it meant risking her life seeing this. Mo Yu also wondered, doesn't she have a dungeon cooldown? She just came out of a dungeon. As for Xiaxue, she just kept finding party after party to enter the dungeon. And so Xiaxue continuously cleared dungeons. Now Xiaxue had reached level 12. With a battered body, she sat down next to Mo Yu, breathing heavily. I'm so tired, I could die. This lady is already level 12. I'll catch up to him soon. Seeing this, Mo Yu approached and asked, aren't you tired? Xiaxue immediately said, I'm tired. Do you think I'm an ox that doesn't get tired? This lady's body is falling apart right now. I don't even want to move a finger. Then Mo Yu asked why she was still grinding so hard, even though she was tired. Xiaxue angrily exclaimed, you still have the nerve to ask why. You still have the face to ask me. For all these years, I've been crushed by you into second place. This lady is very bitter about it. I must surpass you. Hearing this, Mo Yu just held his face just because of this. If I had known, I would have just given up and not been so serious in the exams, let her have first place so I could have some peace. Besides, it's also because Xiaxue wants to get into Hakin Academy. Don't you want to get in there too? You understand, right? Seeing this, Mo Yu advised Xiaxue to grind in the nightmare level dungeon to level up faster. Because to get into Hakin Academy, you need to be at least level 15. Level 16 is the safest. With Xiaxue's current level, it's very difficult to grind to level 15. Hearing that advice from Mo Yu, Xiaxue turned to him in surprise. Is this advice, or are you trying to get me killed? That place is full of level 16s and 17s. I'm only level 12. Who would accept me into their party? Besides, going in there is just suicide. So Xiaxue will go to the normal dungeon. Reaching level 14 should be no problem. Trying to reach level 15 is not impossible. Hearing this, Mo Yu found it strange and asked Yahello, don't you have a dungeon cooldown? You're grinding continuously. Xiaxue sat up in surprise and asked Mo Yu, you don't know anything about this. Seeing that Mo Yu didn't say anything, Xiaxue became excited and said, so there are still things you don't know. Speak to me properly and I'll tell you. Then Mo Yu's expression darkened. Xiaxue knew she had gone too far with her joke and said, you really are an idiot. You don't even know how to take a joke. They say mages have the most flexible minds. You're too dry. She then held out her hand. Here, this is a countdown clock amulet. This item allows me to eliminate the dungeon's countdown timer. Mo Yu picked it up and saw the information appear. Basic countdown clock, number of uses, 710 effect, eliminates the dungeon's countdown timer. Only effective on dungeons below level 20, seeing this item. Mo Yu's expression returned to normal. He held it with interest, thinking, so there's something like this. Then he asked Xiaxue again, is this thing expensive? Hearing that, Xiaxue immediately replied, it's probably very expensive. When my dad gave it to me, he seemed very heartbroken. Hearing Xiaxue's answer, Mo, you regretfully thought, it seems I can't buy this thing. While he was thinking, Xiaxue suddenly started pulling her hair and complaining to Mo Yu, in 2 days, I have to use up these 7 uses plus my own time. I still have to clear the dungeon 9 times. Only then can I guarantee I'll reach level 15. Oh my god, this lady is going to die of exhaustion. Seeing Xiaxue so exhausted, Mo Yu seemed to have a thought. A moment later, Mo Yu made a suggestion to Xiaxue. I can take you to clear the dungeon. I guarantee you'll reach level 15 and you won't even have to lift a finger. Hearing this, Xiaxue calmed down. She then suddenly remembered that Mo Yu could solo dungeons. She thought to herself, Two people clearing it means more experience, and I don't even have to personally fight, but wouldn't that mean I can't catch up to him? But in order to level up as fast as possible, Xiaxue immediately agreed to the offer. Okay, I agree. You take me to clear the dungeon, and I'll share this amulet with you. Xiaxue thought, anyway, even if I don't go with him, I can't catch up. Sooner or later, I'll catch up to him. Seeing that Xiaxue accepted, Moyu told her to rest for a bit. We'll start in 2 hours. Xiaxue, being tired, quickly agreed. Then she closed her eyes to rest up. All right then, this lady will take a nap. And so the two of them rested to recover their stamina. 2 hours had passed. They both began to enter the dungeon. Moyu used Xiaxue's clock and then chose the nightmare difficulty. When she saw the dungeon Moyu chose, Xiaxue shouted, "You chose nightmare difficulty." As they were teleported into the dungeon, she looked at the attribute panel and shouted, "The monster's attributes are this high. This is clearly nightmare difficulty Lam Moyu. Did you choose wrong? Are you crazy? We're going to die, Mo." You didn't say much, simply telling Xiaxue, "Follow me closely." Hearing this, she could only follow him, thinking to herself, but if I run out of the dungeon like this, he'll definitely laugh me to death. Then Moyu taunted, "Xiaxue, hurry up, are you scared?" Hearing Moyu say that, Xiaxue immediately became defiant and flustered, said loudly, "Of course not, I'm not scared." Suddenly, a monster charged at the two of them, scaring Xiaxue into screaming, "Why aren't you defending immediately?" Moyu commanded his legion of skeletons to charge into battle. This made Xiaxue silently marvel that monsters with such high attributes were completely unable to harm his skeleton warriors. Then the two of them ran straight ahead. As Xiaxue ran after him, she wondered what Moyu was really up to. However, after a moment of seeing what was inside, Xiaxue seemed to understand Moyu's intention. She worriedly thought, "This is the tomb of the king, the nightmare level mine. The creatures can be twice the size of those in the normal level." At this moment, Moyu unleashed his power using the corpse explosion skill. He calculated to himself that fighting like before was too time-consuming. Using corpse explosion to one-shot them can save me a lot of time. Then Moyu continuously eliminated the surrounding monsters, first leaving Xiaxue speechless with surprise, because her experience was immediately and continuously increasing. Xiaxue couldn't help but shout, "What kind of tactic is this? Can you really sweep a dungeon like this?" When she saw the tomb of the king being continuously hit and dying on the spot, Xiaxue was dazed, wondering, did it die that easily? My group of 3 fought for over 20 minutes just to barely defeat the tomb of the king. Now at nightmare level, it dies instantly in a flash. Then Moyu urged Xiaxue to keep moving. Xiaxue turned her head and looked at him suspiciously. "Do you solo nightmare level dungeons all by yourself?" Moyu didn't say anything and just walked towards the boss's location. Xiaxue ran after him, marveling to herself. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have never believed a level 10-something job class user could solo a nightmare dungeon. She didn't want to be left behind, so she ran after Moyu as. "Xiaxue ran," she probed. "You've been soloing since level 10. Seeing Xiaxue ask that, Moyu just calmly replied, "Yeah." Hearing that Xiaxue was shocked to her core, she muttered, "From the time we entered the dungeon until now, it's only been 10 minutes, and we've already met the final boss. The previous group that cleared the normal dungeon took at least over an hour to get here." Looking at the final boss, she couldn't help but feel scared. However, Moyu immediately used a move to defeat it. This made Xiaxue so surprised that she doubted it. Did the final boss really get one-shotted? Then Moyu directly leveled up to 15 under Xiaxue's astonished gaze. Seeing this, Xiaxue looked back at her own experience bar, which was only at 70% of level 12. She silently thought, the gap between us has grown even larger. After defeating the Goblin King, both her and Moyu's experience points increased by 25,000. At the same time, they also obtained a bronze-tier weapon, the Goblin King's longsword, and a low-level monster. Crystal Mo. Yu glanced at it and said, "A longsword. Too bad it's not a staff, Moyu." Beside her heard Xiaxue say that and asked, "Do you need a staff?" Xiaxue immediately replied, "Yeah, the Goblin King's staff is the best weapon for a mage below level 20. Although it's available at the trading post, I don't want to ask my dad for money." Suddenly something flew towards Xiaxue. She reached out and caught it, realizing it was the Goblin King's staff. After throwing it, Moyu generously said, "It's for you." Shazue took it and immediately thanked him. But why aren't you using it? Seeing her ask that, Moyu immediately summoned the Goblin King's magic book. He looked back and casually replied, I have this. Besides, I don't like staffs. After seeing that item, Shazue became annoyed and clenched her fists. She thought to herself, from beginning to end, I never saw him use a magic book. He probably doesn't even care about this little bonus. Moyu had now become a level 15 Necromancer. His strength, agility, and constitution were 200, while his spirit alone was 800. Moyu slowly walked towards the corpse of the Goblin King, contemplating as he went, as expected, luring monsters, and then using corpse explosion is much faster. Although the party has to share some experience thanks to Shazue's item, after 5 more runs, I should be able to reach level 16 Lamb. Moyu's current equipment was the Goblin King's magic book, summoning space occupied 84 vor 150. Number of skeleton warriors. 84. Comprehensive growth talent was level 2. Passive skill was damage transfer. Active skill soul fire level 15. Summon skeleton warrior level 15 corpse. Explosion was also level 1. After reviewing all his attributes, Moyu walked towards the corpse of the Goblin King. He knelt down on one knee and gently stroked the monster's body. Moyu said, Sorry, I'll probably have to kill you 5 more times. This behavior from Moyu made Shazue feel strange. She came closer and curiously asked, Why are you talking to the boss? It can't understand you. Moyu replied nonchalantly, I say it because I want to. Whether it understands or not is not important. With that said, Moyu walked straight towards the teleportation circle, leaving Shazue behind as she watched Moyu leave. She wondered to herself, who would seriously apologize to a boss like that? Aren't dungeon bosses meant to be killed for experience? However, right after that, Shazue cheerfully marveled. He's such a weirdo, but also a little cute. Moyu stood at the teleportation gate waiting for Shazue. He couldn't help but urge her, Let's go outside and continue. Seeing this, Shazue also held her staff and excitedly replied, Okay, let's continue. Then the two of them entered the dungeon again. Moyu continued to use Shazue's amulet at this Teihai mine. The two of them defeated the monsters together until all 7 uses of the countdown clock were gone. Shazue had leveled up to 14. She cheerfully announced that all the uses of the amulet were gone. There's still a day and a half until the exam, which is enough for 2 more runs. I can reach level 15. This time, getting into Hakin Academy is 90% certain. After speaking, she asked Silly Lamb, Are you about to level up too? Before Moyu could answer, Shazue smiled and asked, Silly Lamb, do you want to strive to be the provincial top scorer? Hearing this, Moyu didn't understand what she meant. Provincial top scorer. Seeing this, Shazue had to explain that to become the provincial top scorer, you have to get a lot of accumulated points. This is extremely useful at Hakin Academy. Most importantly, you'll have a chance to join the Luminous God Institute. Hearing this, Moyu was astonished. The Luminous God Institute. Shazue then added, I heard my dad say that the Luminous God Institute is probably the best academy in our divine empire. If Hakin Academy recruits all the elite geniuses, then the Luminous God Institute is for the top-tier figures among those geniuses. I heard that Senior Su Tianxing has already gotten in. He's also the only one from our Teihai who could get in. Shazue expressed, I feel you have a hope of becoming the second person if you can get in there. Principal Luke would be laughing in his dreams as she spoke. Shazue thought to herself that this guy's way of clearing dungeons was unprecedented. It completely changed her understanding of dungeon clearing. If he can't get into the Luminous God Institute, who else can? Moyu beside her seemed to be slowly and deeply pondering. Since sister is at Hakin Academy, I will get in there. As for the Luminous God Institute, if there's a chance, I'll definitely give it a try. Suddenly, Shazue saw a familiar face at the mine. She then said, Isn't that Gao Yang? Shazue thought to herself, He's level 11 already. It's a pity that a knight with such a low level can't fight monsters. Even a normal party would require at least a level 13 knight. Seeing Gao Yang being rejected by other teams like that, Moyu and Shazue approached, wanting to offer to take him along. The scene shifts to the King's Guild headquarters. The father of the vice leader of the King's Dynasty Guild was furious. He yelled straight into his son's face, Has a dog eaten your brain? How did you come up with the idea of sealing off the dungeon? Do you see the Divine Empire and the Job Class Association as decorations? If you want to die, don't drag the guild down with you. He raised his hand to his forehead tiredly, saying, Don't go anywhere for the next few days, just stay in the guild. Anyway, you're already level 16, so go take the exam with peace of mind. Hearing this, the vice leader panicked and asked back, What about Triukat's group? Hearing his son's question, his father grimly said he had already sent people to investigate. Don't worry about this matter. The person who could make so many people disappear is not someone you can handle. After speaking, he angrily thought to himself that someone dared to bully the King's Dynasty Guild on my watch. Humph. On the other side of the mine, Gao Yang suddenly shouted the names of the two people Moyu and Xia Shui when he saw them walking together. Gao Yang then made a perverted face and joked, Are you two? Before he could finish, Xia Shui threatened him, Shut your mouth, or I'll tear you to shreds right now. Gao Yang laughed awkwardly, scratching his head. Hey, I was just kidding. Don't take it seriously. Young lady, Xia Shui said, Don't look for a party anymore. Wait for our dungeon time to be up, and we'll take you to clear the dungeon. Getting you to level 12 before the exam will definitely not be a problem. Gao Yang's jaw dropped, tears in his eyes. Really? You two are truly my great benefactors. The academy I want to get into requires at least level 12 to have a sure chance. Xia Shui pointed at him and said, If you act like that again, you're not coming. Gao Yang put on a serious face. Don't worry, young lady. I will definitely seriously follow the commands of the young lady. If you point east, I will absolutely not go west. If the young lady tells me to play dead, I will absolutely not get up. Xia Shui gritted her teeth and told him to shut up. Gao Yang broke out in a sweat and quickly said, Your humble servant obeys. I just don't know how much longer you two have. Xia Shui's anger gradually subsided. She replied 10 hours. Gao Yang then feigned understanding and left. Then you two can rest and chat. I'm going to fight some wild monsters. Go Moyu, I'm betting on you. Sooner or later, you'll win her over. Before Gao Yang could finish his sentence, a flame shot straight at him. He screamed, Oh my God, and ran away as fast as he could. On her end, Xia Shui was angry. This Gao Yang talks too much. He's asking for a beating. Seeing the situation was not good, Moyu quickly put out the fire. He's just a little funny. 10 hours later, the three of them had left the dungeon. Gao Yang immediately asked Boss Lam, Young Lady Ha, did you two choose the wrong difficulty? Why is it? Nightmare level Gao Yang was now in a state of utter panic. Xia Shui just stood with her arms crossed and said, Stop talking nonsense. Just follow behind, you don't need to fight monsters. At this moment, Xia Shui finally realized she wasn't the only one who had reacted this way. Gao Yang quickly ran to Xia Shui's side, his face pale and sweating profusely. Xia Shui was bewildered when Gao Yang got close to her. She asked, What are you doing getting so close to me? Gao Yang quickly hid behind Xia Shui. This is nightmare level. If a monster touches me, I'm a goner. Xia Shui sighed in frustration. You're a knight. In just a few minutes, Mo Yu had defeated the boss with his corpse explosion skill. Gao Yang was surprised by that terrifying power. This is a nightmare-level boss. Even a dozen people like me combined might not be able to beat this boss, and it's already dead. Xia Shui looked at Gao Yang and the boss lying on the ground and said, Truly ignorant. Gao Yang immediately hugged Mo Yu's leg, praising him. Big brother, big brother. Lin, can you take this humble one with you when you clear dungeons in the future? Xia Shui, with her hands on her hips, looked at Gao Yang and curtly said, For better or worse, you're a knight. Can you have a little bit of a knight's spirit? Gao Yang, while hugging Mo Yu's leg and sweating profusely, yelled out, What use is a knight's spirit? With Big Brother here, what the hell do we need a knight for? Mo Yu told him, Let go, and I'll take you. Mo Yu thought to himself, One more run and I can reach level 16 Xia. Shui can reach level 15, and Gao Yang can also level up to 12 hearing this. Gao Yang joyfully exclaimed, That's great. After clearing the side quest for the last time, Mo Yu announced, Next up, we just wait for the university entrance exam to start. Scene changed to the city gate where many people were standing on high ground. One person looked worried and asked, The kids are coming back soon, right? A rather old-looking woman asked, Tomorrow is the university entrance exam. I wonder what the results will be. A man with glasses asked, Old Lu. I heard the two geniuses from your school are aiming for Jiajing Academy. The principal replied, That's right. Moyu and Xiaoyue both want to get into Jiajing Academy based on last year's standards. Level 15 is needed for a solid chance of admission, and level 16 ensures you won't lose. The other man said, It's not easy. Level 15 is manageable, but level 16 is too difficult. In our West Sea city, besides Su Tianxing, only Moyu's older sister reached level 16 last year. The principal pondered. One is Lin Mohan's younger brother. The other is the young lady of the Xia family. Perhaps they can both create miracles. The man with glasses announced, Someone's coming back. A boy named Yu Zhen, a level 12 swordsman. The people on high ground reported, He's from school. No 3. Level 12, quite good. As expected of one of our school's geniuses. Next was a female archer named Van Min, a level 13 eagle-eye archer. A voice rang out. Our school's Van Min is back too. Many people chattered excitedly. Someone said, Level 13. One level higher than your school's. Levels don't mean anything. The university entrance exam results are what matter most. The principal was annoyed. This bunch is still competing over nothing. Then he worried. But almost everyone is back, and not even a single level 14 has returned. Looking up at the sky where birds flew high, conversations buzzed. Why haven't Xiaoshui, Lin Moyu, and Gao Yang returned yet? Theoretically, the 3 of them should have been back by now. Could something have happened? A moment later, 3 people finally appeared against the twilight dawn. Along with that came shouts of, They're back. They're all finally back. Principal Lu was overjoyed and said, As long as they've returned safely, I wonder how many levels they've gained. The announcement board appeared first, was Gao Yang level 12, Sword and Shield Knight. Next was Xiaozhui level 15, Elemental Mage. Many were surprised that girl really reached level 15, so her chances of passing the Jiajing Academy exam are at least 80%. The old man with glasses next to him exclaimed, Old Lu, you get to be proud again this year. Just then, the main character finally appeared, Lin Moyu, level 16. Mage, someone couldn't believe their eyes and shouted, What? Level 16. Everyone there was astonished. Even one level higher than Xiaoshui. This speed is too fast. The man with glasses spoke again. They must have cleared the dungeon together. Look at their weapons. On Gao Yang and Xiaoshui's hands. In Gao Yang's hands were a sword and shield. In Xiaoshui's hand was a magic staff. All were weapons from the Goblin King. Someone else exclaimed, The weapon drop rate is very low. It's not easy to collect a corresponding set of equipment. Some admired them. It seems they worked very hard. Scene changed to them, about to get on the bus. Principal Lu patted Gao Yang's shoulder. He said, You kids get on the bus and wait. When everyone is here, we'll go back to school together. Gao Yang quickly replied, Yes, Principal. Principal Lu excitedly thought to himself, This time I can fiercely snatch the spotlight from those old geezers. He boosted everyone's morale. Tonight, everyone get some good rest. Tomorrow morning, we'll gather at the school and head to the exam venue. Meanwhile, Moyu leaned against the bus window thinking, Level 16. I'm absolutely confident I can pass the Jiajing Academy exam. Now it seems I can compete for the title of provincial top scorer, and I can also consider that Academy of Light. The next morning after a night's rest, Moyu felt refreshed, as his spiritual power was full. He now had 100 skeleton warriors, and their stats had reached 2,500 mon. Yu walked confidently thinking, I'm in my peak state right now. As he got closer, he saw Gao Yang waving and shouting, Big Brother Lamb. All eyes turned to Mo. Yu among them was Xiaoshui, seeing Mo Yu. She approached and asked, Are you confident you'll win? He just grunted a yes. Xiaoshui clenched her fist and promised, Then let's meet again at Jiajing Academy. Mo Yu was still as taciturn as ever. Okay. Each of them received a blue stone. Someone announced, This is a teleportation stone. Everyone crush it or activate it with your spiritual power, and you will be teleported to the exam venue. The teacher added one more thing. During the exam, everyone must prioritize your own safety. Your life is the most important thing, all right. Let's begin teleporting. Cut to the exam venue in Jiangning province. Mo Yu observed and thought, It seems the number of candidates is over 10,000. The trial tower activated. Many golden rays flickered around the trial tower as a voice reminded everyone, all candidates listen carefully to the rules of the exam. Do not make a sound, do not ask questions. Violators will be immediately disqualified. A tall boy wondered, no questions allowed, another person asked. So what if we don't understand? Suddenly a blue light flashed. The two who violated the rules were disqualified. Gao Yang, seeing this, quickly covered his mouth. As for Moyu, he thought to himself, that guy is lucky he has some sense because normally Gao Yang never stops talking. A strong wind rose around the tower. At the top were mysterious dark figures and a new announcement. For different professions, the trial tower will assign them to different dungeons. Combat-type professions will be placed on a battlefield. Non-combat professions will be sent to a related battlefield. After passing the basics, all professions will have the right to choose the difficulty for the next test. This includes normal nightmare, and finally, hell difficulty. Different difficulties will yield different achievements and different accumulated points. Accumulated points are your exam results and can also be used in the colleges and academies you enter. In those places, accumulated points are much more useful than gold coins. One last thing, equipment you carry can be used normally. However, no other props can be used and your storage space will be sealed. Violating candidates will be disqualified. All candidates line up to enter the tower. Everyone lined up one by one to enter the tower, including Moyu, he thought worriedly. Jiangning province already has so many participants. I'm afraid the whole country must have over 1 million candidates. At this moment, like many other candidates, he was surrounded by columns of different colors. It seems my guess was correct. The trial tower enters the same dungeon based on each person's profession. They are sent to different spaces. On the observation deck, some people saw Moyu and said, this is the new profession from West Sea's No. 1 school that was in the news Necromancer. From the information they provided, he must be a summoning-type mage. I hope this new profession doesn't disappoint us. These people in turn all assessed Moyu as a rare mage class, set up a monster of the same type, 2 levels higher than him. While observing him, they specified a mage-type monster. Moyu saw it and wondered, a mage monster. Your mission is to kill the Beastman mage. The countdown begins. The Beastman mage aggressively rushed forward, emitting light rings that blocked, preventing Moyu from knowing its level and stats. Moyu didn't care much and started to act. He used his Soul Flame skill, defeating the Beastman mage with just 1 move in 0.1 seconds. Everyone watching from above was bewildered. Only 0.1 seconds, a one-shot kill. In the trial tower's monitoring room, a few people were talking. Ning Xuanfeng, one of the examiners, suddenly appeared. A person stood up to greet him. Lord Nin, why have you come here? Ning Xuanfeng smiled and replied, I heard there's a new profession, so I came to see. Suddenly a young man observing exclaimed, what do we do now? If he defeats the monster in an instant like this, how are we supposed to gauge this profession's abilities? At this moment, Ning Xuanfeng stepped forward and said, Necromancer right. If the setup for a rare profession is unmeasurable like this, then proceed with a second test based on the legendary profession level. The other person turned his head and looked hesitant. Isn't that too unfair to him? Ning Xuanfeng replied, it's fine. He one-shotted the first test, so for now, give him first place with 100 accumulated points. If he passes the second test, I will personally give him another 1,000 points. He seemed very curious about Moyu's profession. Everyone heard his command and answered clearly. Understood. In the trial tower, Moyu prepared for the second test, kill the monster in front of you. Beastman Mage Worgen level 20. Looking at the beast, he found it boringly ugly. Moyu silently and gently cast Soul Flame, defeating it instantly. The people on this side watched the scene in disbelief. Another instant kill. This is a legendary level profession. Strength testing Xuanfeng. Seeing Moyu's performance was certain he was a prodigy. There's no need for further testing. Let's start the second round right away. An announcement appeared. The first round for combat-type profession candidates has ended. The number of candidates participating in the exam was 10,632, with 220 candidates passing. Now announcing the results. Xiaojue looked at the announcement and frowned. Although I knew Silly Lin could get first place, 1 seconds, isn't that too monstrous? The announcement board. First place, Moyu 1 seconds, 100 points. Second place, Zuo Mei, 32 seconds, 70 points. Third place, Xia, 52 seconds, 40 points. Fourth place, Wang Zihao, 55 seconds, 10 points. Looking at the results, Xia found Moyu unbelievably strong, but she was determined not to lose. On Wang Zihao's side, he was stunned, exclaiming, "I'm not in the top 3. First place should clearly be mine. 1 seconds. How is that possible?" Wang Zihao was certain the examiners must have made a mistake. Meanwhile, Moyu naively wondered to himself, "Was I too much?" Suddenly that voice spoke again. The second round for combat-type profession candidates is about to begin. Candidates, please choose a difficulty. Note spirits may appear in the second round. Please gauge your own strength. In case of danger, you can shout forfeit. Then your exam will end with results based on your current performance. The exam time is 30 minutes. Please choose the difficulty for your test. Defeating a common level monster earns 1 point. Defeating a nightmare level monster earns 3 points. Defeating a hell level monster earns 5 points. After reading the information, Moyu seriously considered, it seems this round is about seeing who can kill more monsters in 30 minutes. Wang Zihao, a level 16 warrior, chose to fight hell level monsters. He gloated, thinking, killing 1 monster on hell. Difficulty is equivalent to 5 on normal. That first place brat. Even if you won the last round, don't even think about beating me this time. Xia, a level 15, elemental mage, prepared for round 2. She closed her eyes and thought, elemental mages are not good at close combat, nor are we good at high-intensity solo combat, but we can win with quantity. In the trial monitoring room, the old men speculated again. Among the rare professions, Berserker is considered a strong one. He should be able to get a decent score. This round, elemental mages have good burst damage but are weak in close combat. This girl is smart, choosing normal difficulty candidate, Zuomei level 16. Rogue. Rogue is a rare profession within the assassin class. Her close combat ability is very strong. She can choose either nightmare or hell difficulty. On the other hand, I wonder what difficulty the Necromancer Lin Moyu will choose this time. Everyone jostled to see Moyu, to the point where there was no space left. Move aside, don't push. Ignoring the old men's speculations, Moyu knew this was a test of continuous combat ability. 30 minutes is a tough challenge for any candidate. But not for me, so he quickly chose hell difficulty. The old men on this side weren't too surprised. As expected, he chose hell difficulty. The man in the purple robe said to Mo, "Use principle. Old Lu, you've hit the jackpot this time. 2 of your students are in the top 3. If Moyu brings back the provincial top scorer certificate, won't you be bursting with pride?" Inside, after choosing the level, Moyu entered the second round. He faced the Beastman warrior, elite level 13, strength 500, agility 300, spirit 150, constitution 400, skill wild wind slash. Moyu looked at it and thought in frustration, these stats are too weak. It's not that the monster is weak, it's that you're too overpowered, sir. But that's right. If the monsters were too strong, wouldn't they eliminate all the candidates? With that thought, he summoned a skeleton warrior to fight. Skeleton warrior level 16, strength, agility, spirit, and constitution are all at 2,500 points. It alone could sweep through everything. Moyu looked on and said, too simple. When one monster died, the second one would only appear 5 seconds later. So Moyu only summoned 2 warriors. That was enough. Those old men were even more surprised. Lin Moyu's summoned monster is that strong. It's truly more formidable than any summoning class we've ever seen. Besides, couldn't he summon 2? This new profession is much more powerful than I imagined. On Wang Zihao's side, he was fighting with all his might, and smiling very brightly, ha 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 ha, come on. His face was filled with murderous intent, as if he wanted to eat the monster alive. The old men saw this and criticized. This candidate, Wang Zihao, is too reckless. He completely doesn't understand stamina management. It seems he's not even as good as Xia. An old man in the trial monitoring room was surprised when he turned back to see Moyu taking out a hot sweet potato from his bag to eat. Everyone was stunned. This is the first time I've seen someone eat a sweet potato during an exam. Quick, take a picture to make him famous in history. Is the exam too easy for him? Ning Xuanfeng stroked his beard and praised, this kid is interesting. Wang Zihao was now exhausted, slumping down and panting. It's finally over. Killing 50. Hell difficulty monsters was really not easy. First place this time must be mine. That familiar voice rang out again. The second round has ended. This round had 5,220 participants. 780 candidates were injured and actively forfeited. Wang Zihao was eager to know his score. His eyes blazed as if he was sure victory was his. The announcement continued. The remaining 2,440 candidates can choose to forfeit or proceed to the next round. The result board appeared. Moyu total score 1605 Zuomei, total score 470 Shashue, total score 270. Wang Zihao total score 265. Seeing the results, Wang Zihao froze. Impossible. How could he get such a high score? The monster spawn rate is 1 every 5 seconds with a maximum of 12 monsters per minute. Each kill is worth 5 points. In 30 minutes, the maximum score is 1800. He got 1605 points killing 301 monsters. Does killing monsters not take time? Those old men couldn't help but praise old Luke. This student of yours is too monstrous. Principal. Luke waved his hand and said, calm down. The other man also said, that year Su Tianxing, the brilliant genius, only got 700 points in this round. Lin Moyu only got 650 points. But him. Now the third test round appeared. Exam time. 30 minutes. The candidates must face a leader-level monster. Defeating a common-level monster earns 100 points. Defeating a hell-level monster earns 500 points. Mo, you didn't hesitate to choose hell difficulty. This time, it's a solo fight with a leader-level monster, a test of one's ultimate individual challenge capability. The Monster Beastman, Captain Worgen. Leader level 15, Strength 1000, Agility 800, Spirit 500, Constitution 1000, Skill Wild Wind. / Looking at this beast. Moyu showed disdain. This is a hell-level leader. It's even weaker than the elite monster in the West Sea Mine on Nightmare difficulty. Moyu ordered his skeleton warrior to attack. Although a bit disappointed, he understood the rules wouldn't release a true hell-level monster. The exam has 5 rounds in total. I hope the next 2 rounds will be a real challenge. On Wang Zihao's side, he was enjoying the thrill of killing. Shaju launched a fireball at the beast, seemingly fighting fiercely. Zume was also fighting relentlessly against the monster. Over here, the skeleton used its berserk strike skill. This one blow completely defeated the leader beast. Everyone was dumbfounded again. Another one-shot kill it can even use skills. What on earth is this summon? It's like this every time. This kid Moyu's power is just too much. I feel like our tests can't make him use his real strength. Let's wait until round 5. If he doesn't want the provincial top scorer title, then he must pass the 5th round. I don't believe the 5th round won't reveal his true strategy. Round 3 ended. The information board appeared again. First place, Lin Moyu, total score 2105. Second place, Zuomei, total score 970. Third place, Shajue, total score 770. Fourth place, Wang Zihao, total score 76567. 0th place, Gao Yang, total score 302. Looking at the scoreboard, Moyu thought, it seems Gao Yang also worked very hard. The announcement appeared again. Preparing for the 4th test round. The difficulty in the 4th round will continue to increase, and the danger level will also rise. Currently, candidates can choose to continue or forfeit. Wang Zihao was exhausted but thought, the 4th round is about to start. This is my chance. The announcement appeared again. With your current achievements, getting into the top 100 academies of the Empire is no longer a problem. If you wish to continue, we will respect your choice. The rules for the 4th round are as follows. Each of you will face 10 waves of attacking monsters. The number of monsters per wave is 10 for a total of 100 monsters. Whether you defeat the monsters from the previous wave or not, 1 minute later, the next wave of monsters will appear. The final wave of monsters will be led by a leader-level monster defeat. All the monsters to pass. Each monster is worth 10 accumulated points. After passing, the points for this round will be doubled for a total of 200 accumulated points. Entering round 4, a series of powerful monsters along with a hooded leader appeared. The old men looked at Moyu again and said, let's see how he handles it this time. The best way to deal with a summoner is to eliminate the summoner himself. Those old men wondered, will Lin Moyu be flustered this time? Ning Xuanfeng said he felt that this test round still wouldn't be difficult for him. That statement made the other old men look at him in disbelief. On his side, Moyu had summoned his skeleton warriors to stretch their bones a bit, but he only summoned 3 skeleton warriors, which was enough. After summoning the skeleton warriors, Moyu used his ultimate skill Soul Flame to attack. Blue lightning bolts continuously struck towards those monsters. The monsters roared in pain and then passed away peacefully in an instant. Those old men saw this scene and were surprised. This kid has a 3rd summoned creature. Damn it, why didn't he bring it out from the beginning? He's only releasing it now. Why does this stinky kid like to hide things so much? That's right, the stronger he is, the happier we are. Over here, after finishing the fight, Moyu stood and yawned widely. He thought, this university entrance exam has no challenge at all. It's not even as exciting as the first time entering the West Sea Mine Dungeon. There's no surprise at all. The old men on the other side of the screen seeing Moyu's strength were bored. Boring not watching anymore. Watching this kid isn't interesting at all. It's better to watch someone else. The other guys agreed. That's right, that's right. Scene changed to the other side. Xiaoshui was using her Path of Flame skill to fight monsters. Xiaoshui thought area of effect attacks are the strength of an elemental mage. I can pass this round. On another side, Wang Zihao was fighting with a group of monsters, he crazily said, and massacring the monsters. Watching these scenes on the screen, people chattered excitedly. Too terrifying. With so many monsters, how can we kill them in time? Good thing I chose to quit. That Lin Moyu guy is also amazing. The moment the monster appeared, his skeleton warrior killed it with 1 hit. Gao Yang heard this and went over to show off. He said, Moyu is my big brother. Of course, he's amazing. Come here. Let me tell you a story. Big brother Moyu cleared a nightmare-level dungeon all by himself. Those guys heard that and looked skeptical. Cleared nightmare alone. How is that possible? That's right, that's right. Are you trying to fool us? Inside the dungeon, there were now exactly 5 people still able to fight. People continued to discuss. This candidate's name is Feng Tu. He's finally starting to go all out. Feng Tu, level 15, Phantom Swordsman. He is from the Feng family of sword cultivators. He understood the exam rules very well, knowing that the last 2 rounds were the key to boosting accumulated points. So he was waiting during the previous rounds. Everyone shouted, look quickly. Wang Zihao has gone berserk. Berserk lasts for 5 minutes. Physical strength increases by 500%, agility decreases by 200%. After the berserk effect wears off, he will enter a weakened state for 30 minutes. On Lin Moyu's side, he thought, finally the last wave of monsters. At this moment, the announcement, the 4th round, has ended. In the end, 5 people passed. Next, the rankings will be announced. First place, Lin Moyu, total accumulated score of 3605, second place. Zuomei, total accumulated score of 2470, third place. Xiaoshu, total accumulated score of 2270, fourth place. Wang Zihao, total accumulated score of 2265, fifth place. Feng Tu, total accumulated score of 2200. Hearing this, people thought and said, only 5 people passed the 4th round. After the 4th round, there are only 5 people left. So will anyone really pass the 5th round? The 4th round was already that hard. I really can't imagine how difficult the 5th round will be. Wang Zihao was exhausted, sitting and thinking, his hand holding the sword, his body covered in wounds. He still smiled and said, everything is within expectations. The 5th round is the real moment to decide victory or defeat. On the other side, Xiaoshu also breathed a sigh of relief, telling herself, top 5, getting into Xiajing Academy should no longer be a problem. Zhu Mei on this side was no less miserable. She frowned seriously. Xiajing Academy, here I come. The announcement continued to ring out. I know you want to get into Xiajing Academy, but don't think that being in the top 5 means you can rest easy. If your performance in the final round is not outstanding enough, you will still be eliminated as usual. If you want to enter Xiajing Academy, try to earn those accumulated points. Please listen carefully to the rules for round 5. At this, Moyu and Xiaojue turned to each other. It's finally here. The announcement continued. Each of you will be teleported to a special space, the war space. The war space will continuously generate all kinds of monsters in large numbers. The first group will be over 100, including elite types and even leader-level bosses. The faster you kill, the faster the monsters will appear, and their speed and strength will also increase faster. Each person needs to adjust their own attack rhythm. Pay attention to the changes in your own accumulated points. The war space is divided into 5 stages. The accumulated points you can get in each stage are different. Only, you can see the rules for calculating accumulated points. Even the chief examiner doesn't know. After you enter the war space, the chief examiner can only see the changes in your accumulated points. Therefore, if you have any trump cards, do your best to use them. Good luck to you all. Then an information board appeared. Stage, 1 monster level 15, accumulated points per kill. 50 stage, 2 monster level 16, accumulated points per kill. 100 stage, 3 monster level 17, accumulated points per kill. 200 stage, 4 monster level 18, accumulated points per kill. 400 stage 5 monster. Level 19 accumulated points per kill, 800. Having understood everything and finished reading the info board, Moyu stepped into the war space. He assessed, I can feel that this place is filled with the scent of death. It seems unimaginable. Fierce battles have taken place in this war space. The surroundings were covered in a gloomy gray. In the sky, lightning bolts competed to strike down on the desolate land. There were only tall piles of rocks. Suddenly a horde of monsters swarmed in. Moyu spoke as he summoned his skeleton warriors. Are you trying to let me feel the battlefield first? The level 15 lizardman beast warriors rushed towards Moyu. Seeing them, he wondered. Only their level is shown, no stats and skills. The monsters suddenly roared. Moyu looked up and thought, is that roar a call for their comrades? Then the skeleton warrior swung its sword and slashed the monster. The slash wounded the monster in the chest, but it didn't die. Moyu observed closely, wondering, it wasn't a one-shot kill. It seems its stats aren't low. Then Lin Moyu's expression turned serious. If 1 slash doesn't kill it, then 2 will. The skeleton warrior continued to swing its sword at the monster. That slash killed it. Moyu used the corpse explosion skill. On the other side, the chief examiner was surprised when he looked at his scoreboard. Lin Moyu has made his move. A 500-point increase in one go. Did he kill all 10 monsters of stage 1 in a single go? After killing the monsters, Moyu stood and said, if they can use roars to call their comrades, then I just need to wait here for the monsters to come to me. Suddenly the monster corpses on the ground began to fade. Moyu wondered. The corpses disappeared again. They can only exist for 10 seconds. After that, blue flames surrounded the monster corpses and they vanished. Moyu thought it seems the plan needs to be changed a bit. 9 skeleton warriors should be just enough to lure all the remaining monsters here. Next, the skeleton warriors rushed forward to slaughter them. Moyu used his corpse explosion skill. As soon as he said it, he acted. All the monsters there died at the same time from the corpse explosion. On the other side, the chief examiners were buzzing about Moyu's score. What on earth is Lin Moyu doing? Damn it, we can't see anything. His accumulated points jumped by 4,500 in one go. Did he kill all 100 of the first monsters in one go? Ning Xuanfeng thought in alarm. What on earth did this kid do? What kind of profession is a necromancer really? Where are his limits anyway? Over here, Moyu stood on a cliff wondering, this time surely I don't have to wait another minute for the next monsters to appear, right? Suddenly flames flew towards Moyu from nowhere. He was surprised. Moyu ordered the skeleton warriors to run up and block the flames for him. It turned out to be a rain of fire created by level 16 lizardman beast mages. Moyu stood behind the skeleton warriors and smiled. Finally, more monsters. Then it's my turn, isn't it? The monsters rushed forward like a storm to attack Moyu. At the same time, Moyu summoned his army of skeleton warriors to fight. The skeleton warriors slashed straight at the monsters, killing them instantly. Meanwhile, Moyu used corpse explosion to kill the surrounding monsters. Right after, terrifying explosions occurred continuously. Just like that, the monsters lined up to give points to Moyu. The examiners, seeing this, were terrified. Another 6,000-point increase. He killed 120 monsters in an instant. His summons are already that strong, and he even has an AoE skill. His own soul flame skill is already monstrous enough. 2 examiners stood there wondering about this profession. Could it have surpassed the legendary level? Perhaps it can be compared to those professions. We can't say that for now. Being powerful doesn't mean a high level is also powerful. Let's observe more. Over here, Moyu observed for a moment and came to a conclusion. The death aura has increased. We've reached the second stage far away on the cliffs. Dark figures were standing Mo. You thought, at least 40 beastmen are scattered around here. The monster level has also increased and the quantity has doubled. Considering this difficulty, I'm afraid it's very hard for other professions to break into stage 2. Even if they can pass, it would take a lot of time. But for me, there's no need to worry at all. On the first cliff, the figures standing there were identified as level 16, lizardmen beast archers, and level 16 beastmen fighters. The examiners were discussing, in the history of the Divine Xia Nation's university entrance exam over the past 100 years, only one profession has passed. Stage 3 of the war, space. I think Moyu has a chance. His skills are too monstrous, and I suspect he has already awakened a talent. Everyone in the room was astonished if he has really awakened a talent. Then it would be an extremely good thing for the human race. That's right, a genius who awakens a talent, right after changing profession. Who knows, he might awaken a new talent in his second job. Change. Talented professionals are already extremely rare. Dual-talented professionals are 1 in a million. We are so lucky to have met one. On the screen, the current ranking of the candidates appeared. First place was Lin Moyu with a total accumulation of 34,605. Second place was Jia Shui with a total accumulation of 7,270. Third place was Feng Tu with a total accumulation of 6,200. The people in the room said in surprise, "Look quickly, that kid Moyu has entered stage 2. One monster is 100 points and he killed 200 monsters in one go. Isn't this just giving away points? If I didn't lack the authority, I would definitely create dozens of bosses for him." Scene change to Xiajing, the capital of the Divine Xia Empire. In the very center of the city is the main body of the Trial Magic Tower, one of the 3 great magic towers of the Divine Xia Empire. In some remote corner, a mouse searching for food suddenly stopped and looked up. Dark storm clouds were gathering in the sky. At the base of the magic trial tower, a sharp purple object flew in to attack the place. A voice came from nowhere. How audacious. From within the trial tower, a giant golden hand reached out to block the object. It turned out that thing was created by a giant monster. It cackled, "But you can't stop me." Before it could finish its sentence, the golden hand had created a ball of power to attack the monster. A voice came out, "You're courting death." Even while being attacked, the monster replied, "This is just a clone. Kill it if you wish." Hehehehe. But as for those inside your trial tower, before the monster could finish, the giant hand crushed it. Beside it were dark figures hovering in the sky. The 3 of them were discussing. Unexpectedly, the abominations of the abyss dared to launch a sneak attack. The speed of that dark light was too fast. It seems they came prepared. Their target is the children in the trial tower. They continued. The abominations of the abyss have infiltrated. The space inside the tower is in chaos. The power of the abyss has corrupted the rules. One of them released a wave of power. He said, "The world inside the tower was originally created with refined earth from the abyss. This benefits them. How long will it take to stabilize and restore order?" This person is Bai Yuan, a top-tier expert of the Divine Xia Empire. The other person among them replied that it could be stabilized in 1 hour. In the war space, Moyu stood among his skeleton warriors wondering, what's going on? Why did the monsters suddenly disappear? Suddenly, a woman's foot appeared. A voice called out, "Silly lamb." Hearing this, Moyu immediately turned around and clearly saw the person who had just called him Xia Shui. What happened in the war space? Why can we meet other candidates? Xia Shui, covered in wounds and holding her scepter, said to Mo, Just now I was killing monsters, and suddenly they all disappeared. Do you know what happened?" Moyu replied, "I'm not sure either." At the same time, Wang Zihao and everyone else also appeared in this place. He was surprised, not understanding what was happening. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the sky and introduced himself. "Students, I am Bai Yuan." The people below were surprised and shouted. Lord Bach, Moyu, and Xiashuo were also surprised. It's Lord Bach again. Ning Xuanfeng wondered to himself, why has Lord Bai appeared? Could there be a problem with the war space? On the other side, Bai Yi continued to speak. The demons of the abyss world have invaded the war space. Their target is you. We are trying to repair and restore the spatial rules, which will take about an hour. Hearing this, Joshua was shocked. Abyss demons have invaded the war. Space Bak Y continued. Therefore, for the next hour, you must protect yourselves. I don't know what methods the demons of the Abyss world will use against you, but I believe that as long as we are united, the invading power of the Abyss can't do anything to us. The people of our divine Jia are not afraid to fight, not afraid to die. After saying this, Bai Yuan frowned with worry because he knew there was a significant power gap between everyone and the power of the Abyss. Wang Zihao below raised his sword and shouted, "Not afraid to fight, not afraid to die." Hearing this, everyone shouted in unison, "Not afraid to fight, not afraid to die, not afraid to fight, not afraid to die." Truly, empty barrels make the most noise. Always so heroic when shouting slogans, but when it's time to fight, they disappear. As for the truly strong one, Moyu was still focused on thinking, the weakest monster in the Abyss is level 70. If Lord Bai says, we can fight against the invading power of the Abyss, then it clearly means this wave of power is definitely not strong. The examiners outside heard this and became worried to think this would happen. The Abyss deliberately burst into the university entrance exam. They want to target the geniuses participating in the 5th round. They want to cut off the roots of our divine Ji. If this isn't handled well, this time I'm afraid they'll come every year. Ning Xuanfeng shouted, "Say no more. Inform the people outside and tell them not to panic. Trust in Lord Bai. You too, trust in Lord Bai." Inside the battlefield, someone pointed to the red moon in the sky and said, "The blood moon of the Abyss. The power of the Abyss is starting to act. Everyone get ready. If you want to kill our team, you'll have to step over our knights' dead bodies first." The knights rushed forward to form a defensive line. A voice came from nowhere. Very good. As expected of the future of the divine Xia Empire. Too bad, you all have to die. One sound is enough to kill you all. It's a pity I can't savor your delicious corpses here. Hey. Everyone shouted, "They're here." The thing approaching was a lizard-man beast warrior, corrupted by the Abyss level 19. The monster had a giant green body, holding a large axe in each of its 2 hands. It exuded an oppressive aura of power. A girl said, "I remember now. The war space has a level limit. The highest is level 19. The boy next to her heard that and said, "That's right. How could I forget? Then what's there to be afraid of? There are so many of us." Before the boy could finish his sentence, giant monsters slowly approached from nowhere. Everyone panicked when they saw the number of monsters. How can there be so many? They're at least enhanced elite monsters. Seeing this, Jia Jue stood behind Mo. "You afraid?" she asked. "What do we do?" Mo Yu saw those monsters and said, "Troublesome, but still manageable." Mo Yu silently assessed enhanced elite monsters. Isn't that the same as a nightmare-level dungeon? Corrupted by the power of the Abyss they mutated, will these monsters give experience? In the desolate battlefield scene, a scene of everyone's fear appeared. A voice rang out again, likely the Demon King's voice. Hey, scared yet?" "You're scared, aren't you, Lord?" Bai said. "If you unite, you can win. There are over 100 of you, 1 for each of you, eh?" Hearing this, everyone simultaneously stepped back in defense. "You evil creatures, the human warriors are all afraid." Everyone trembled in fear in that atmosphere. Wang Zihao was even more cowardly. "We can't win. Their aura makes it impossible for me to raise my sword." Zhou Mei and Feng Tu were also very cautious, highly focused and tensed up, ready to fight. However, Mo Yu still had that cold expression. He stepped forward confidently, as the essence of a necromancer manifested. Xiazhu, seeing Mo Yu step forward like that, was extremely scared. Although she saw him as a rival, she was still worried for him. "Silly Lin, what are you doing? Come back quickly. There are over 100 level 19 enhanced elite monsters over there." Mo Yu, still with his confident demeanor, stepped forward and saw Xiaxue running after him worriedly, so he could only say one word: "Go back." But Xiaxue, full of courage and bravery, replied, "I don't want to." In his heart, Mo Yu thought that her following him wouldn't affect anything. Whatever. With that thought, he said to Xiaxue, "As you wish." Even the people behind them shouted in suspicion. What is he planning to do? Is he just going to charge forward like that? When those people learned that Lin Moyu's ability was a necromancer, everyone was surprised because this was the only hidden profession. So they were very curious about what it was. Many questions were raised. What kind of profession is a necromancer? Are those skeletons, his summoned creatures? Is the new profession a summoner? What do we do now? Should we go up together? Seeing Moyu courageously stepping forward like that, the people behind him also cast aside their fear and advanced. Led by Zuomei and Feng Tua heroic scene, the group united spoke with one voice. The people of Divine She are not afraid to fight even in death. Seeing this, the Demon King's voice rang out again. Haha! Finally someone is coming to offer their life. You've got guts. I actually feel a little sorry to kill you. Why don't you come to the abyss and be a slave for this Demon King? Moyu still stood firm with a cold expression. He continued to step closer and closer to face them. The Demon King was a little surprised and continued. Have you thought it through? The gate to the abyss is always open to welcome you. Moyu said nothing and looked up. It turned out he had been calculating tactics, measuring the distance to optimize his power. About 50 meters away. Using corpse explosion at this distance can achieve the best effect. The people behind him, seeing Moyu suddenly stop, didn't understand why he stopped. Why isn't he moving? Moyu calmly replied, This is good enough. Along with that, the flame in his hand flared up, and immediately an army of skeleton warriors was summoned. The number of skeleton warriors was 100. Witnessing that scene, everyone was astonished. So many. How does he have so many summoned creatures? What on earth is this profession? Even Zuomei, a top-tier agile assassin, widened her eyes in admiration. So fast, this summoned creature is even faster than a rogue who specializes in agility like me. Moyu's skeleton warriors charged into the horde of lizards and used their ultimate skill, Berserk Strike, to attack. But they didn't die and still charged in like a storm. As a result, the skeleton warriors' constitution dropped to 1995 from the initial 2500. After observing the fighting style, Moyu made a prediction. It seems the strength of these abyss-corrupted monsters is about 3,000. To be able to withstand so many attacks without dying, their constitution must be over 3,500. But for the corpse explosion skill, the higher the constitution, the better. The skeleton army unleashed their skills and defeated the lizard warriors. Experience gained pour 8,000. Just as Moyu thought they did indeed give experience. Moyu got serious and unleashed his ultimate skill, corpse explosion, along with the thought. The experience gained is quite little, but it's better than nothing. Luckily, there are quite a few monsters to make up for it. Instantly, the corpse explosion skill was unleashed. The corpses that had just been slain by the skeletons burst apart, spreading outwards, and dealt damage to the other abyss-corrupted lizards. The people behind them witnessing this scene couldn't help but be stunned. Someone shouted, "What's happening?" They only saw a wide area of smoke and fire along with a giant energy ball that swept through. The monsters exploded one after another continuously. Right after the ground was clean, the scene made everyone doubt Moyu's immense power again. Killed them all. Just like that. What skill is this? How can it be so powerful? Wang Zihao, seeing this, collapsed. He trembled and said, "How can this be? How can he be so formidable? Why wasn't I the one to awaken this profession? This is unfair." In contrast to him, the people around were joyful and grateful. We're saved. The necromancer profession is too powerful. Even the Demon King from the abyss, after witnessing that ridiculously extraordinary power, had to feel a bit of fear. Impossible. How can this be? You've angered this Demon King. This Demon King wants to kill you, drink your blood, and eat your flesh. The Demon King continued to emit energy beams to corrupt the monsters. At the same time, he controlled the lizards to attack everyone. He laughed loudly. Hey, next. Let's see what you do. You all must die. Following his voice, Mo. You found the source of the voice and the root of all problems. He looked up at the red moon. So you're here. Immediately, a skeleton warrior appeared and killed a lizard and threw it straight up at that moon. Seeing this, the Demon King's voice cried out in fear. You're a madman. What are you trying to do? Just as the words were spoken, the demon saw Moyu use his corpse explosion skill on that lizard. He was hit by the blow, revealing his true form. Moyu continued to attack with soul flame. He let out a pained and resentful cry. This king wants to kill. After taking a powerful combination attack from Moyu, he still wasn't dead. Moyu was also a bit surprised looking at him. He screamed in pain. Ah, what skill is this? Why can it burn my soul? What profession are you anyway? There's no way this kind of profession could exist in this world. Hearing this, Moyu turned to leave, and uttered a threat. Invade the war space, then you must pay a heavy price. The mages of the academy outside the trial tower were also surprised. Oh, first they were not stunned, saying, the invading abyss force has weakened on a large scale. Bai Yi, enraged, emanated a murderous aura and energy. He angrily asked, are all the candidates in the tower dead? The white-haired old man saw this and calmed Bai Yi down. That's not right. I can feel the life force of quite a few people inside, and the consciousness aura of the abyss demon has weakened. It's injured. Hearing that Bai Yi returned to normal, why didn't you say so sooner? You worried me to death. The white-haired old man was a bit scared, sweating, as he said, next time, can you not release such a terrifying aura? Based on what he heard, Bai Yi voiced his thoughts and doubts, but the abyss demon used the power of the abyss to disrupt the rules of the war. Space. Even we couldn't get in. Who could have injured it? Could it just be those level 15 and 16 candidates inside? Inside the arena, the Demon King, after being physically and mentally injured, became enraged and roared, "Kill you, kill you!" He ordered the monsters, "All of you get up there, kill him for me!" Then he controlled even more lizards to attack. The people on this side were terrified. Some had already collapsed their faces, showing clear fear when facing a lizard. Meanwhile, Moyu had received information that his corpse explosion skill had leveled up to level 2. It could detonate corpses dealing damage equal to 15% of the enemy's life points within a 2-meter radius. Moyu thought to himself, corpse explosion has leveled up. After the talent buff, the damage range of corpse explosion will increase to 20 meters, dealing damage equal to 150% of the enemy's life points. From this, he had some thoughts. This is a skill I have to use a lot to increase proficiency before it levels up. Or perhaps besides the talent skill gained from job change, all skills learned from scrolls will level up like this. At this moment, a whole swarm of lizards was attacking from behind him. It was also the time he needed to test his thoughts. Perfect timing. The onlookers admired him. Who is that guy? Who can use this kind of monster to level up? It seems his name is Lin Moyu, with a new profession. Luckily we have him, otherwise we would all be dead. The Demon King from above said, "It seems you can't leave." The Demon King revealed his true form, looking very terrifying. He continued to ask, "You are Lin Moyu. This king will remember you well, ha ha ha, as long as you come to the abyss, this king." While the Demon King was still talking, "Mo, you had already used corpse explosion to blow up the lizards around the Demon King." A loud explosion shook the sky. The Demon King had been defeated by Moyu. The group below cheered joyfully. "The war space has returned to normal, we won." The people outside also sensed that the abyss's consciousness had been destroyed. The white-haired old man looked at the surrounding scenery and said, "The war space is gradually recovering." Bai Yi worriedly asked, "How are the children?" He replied, "They are all safe and sound. No casualties." Bai Yi was extremely surprised. "No casualties. The situation is completely different from what we expected. What on earth happened in the war space? Just in case, let's get the kids out of there first." The other man said, "Okay." After Bai Yi finished speaking, he recalled what had happened in the war space. Shaju approached to check on and ask Moyu with concern, "Silly Lin, are you okay?" Moyu replied, "I'm fine." Bai Yi immediately appeared and announced, "Students, the abyss force has disappeared. The war space has returned to normal. You will be taken back to your exam school. After that, the exam results will be announced." Inside, Shashua looked at Moyu and thought to herself, "We couldn't have possibly fought those beastmen. Luckily, we had him." At this moment, everyone had been teleported outside. An announcement appeared. "The test for the combat class has ended. Candidates, please wait for the final evaluation." Ning Xuanfeng also stood there thinking. The exam results for the combat class are compiled from the points achieved in the test, and the evaluation top-tier academies don't just recruit students with good results, they also require an excellent evaluation. But the evaluation of those 5 is different from other candidates. It's given by the high-ranking officials of the Divine Jia Empire. He looked at Moyu, not knowing what exactly had happened in there, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what evaluation this kid Moyu will get. On his side, Bai Yi was replaying the images of Moyu on the battlefield. He was astonished. This person a necromancer. I've heard of this profession before. It's a completely new profession that just appeared in Qinghai City, Jiangning Province. I didn't expect him to stop the tide alone. Truly formidable, calm, ruthless, decisive, a powerful profession. This child already has what it takes to become a top-tier expert. Not only does he have a powerful profession, he must have awakened a talent. Everyone was discussing the battlefield this year. Giving an evaluation score is a bit difficult. What's difficult about it? Those who ran away are all cowards. In the future on the battlefield, they'll also be deserters, completely useless. After all, they're just teenagers. Lin Moyu's evaluation is definitely excellent. As for the others, let's discuss it. Cut to outside the competition hall, a large crowd was waiting. The results were announced on a large board. First place, Lin Moyu, total score 34,605 evaluation. Excellent. Old Luke Yun was overjoyed, clenching his fists and exclaiming, first place, top scorer, he got top scorer. Moyu did very well. Everyone competed to congratulate him. Congratulations, Old Luto, have a provincial. Top scorer in your school. Old Lu will be bragging about this for 2 decades. Shajue also happily congratulated him. Congratulations, silly Lin. You really became the provincial top scorer. Moyu just smiled lightly and said, thanks. Seeing this, Shajue's eyes widened in surprise. Did you just smile? You look very handsome when you smile. Why don't you smile normally? The announcement board continued to display second place Shajue, total score 7600 evaluation. Excellent people congratulated again. Hey, second place is also from your school principal. Luke Yun was smiling from ear to ear. It truly makes others envious. Third place Feng Tu, total score 6700 evaluation. Excellent. Fourth place Zuo Mei, total score 62225 evaluation. Excellent. Fifth place Wang Zihao, total score 6300 evaluation. Poor. Hearing this, Wang Zihao broke into a sweat, unable to believe his evaluation was poor. Why? With this evaluation, forget about Xiajing Academy. Even the top 20 academies of the empire wouldn't accept me. He angrily shouted, I'm not convinced. Why? On what basis did you give me poor? It's not fair. An announcement immediately appeared. Wang Zihao violated the exam regulations, expelled. He could only scream the word no. The announcement appeared again. This year's provincial top scorer for Jiangning Province, combat profession class, Lin Moyu. Gaoyang jumped up and cheered. See that? That's my boss. Top scorer. Provincial top scorer. The announcement appeared again. Silence. The Empire has issued a decree in this year's university entrance exam. Lin Moyu becomes. Everyone was curious about the Empire's decree. Isn't the provincial top scorer the end? The announcement boomed. In this year's university entrance exam, Lin Moyu becomes the national top scorer. Hearing this, everyone erupted. What national top scorer? I didn't hear wrong, did I? Moyu national top scorer. Old Principal Lu Yun was on cloud 9. His whole body tingled with joy. Haha. Top scorer. National top scorer. The people below also congratulated him. Again, Old Lu. Are you okay? Don't get too excited. Take care of your health. You didn't hear wrong. This time you can brag for a lifetime. And the people on this side were also cheering and celebrating. National top scorer. Our Jiangning province has a national top scorer. Moyu is too amazing. In the future, if I have a child, I'll also want them to study at school. No. 1. On this side, Zuo Mei approached and said, Lin Moyu, congratulations. And Feng Tu also said, thank you. This time, if it weren't for you, we would have been done. For Moyu only said 3 words. It's nothing. Zuo Mei asked again. You must have also registered for Xiajing Academy, right? Feng Tu said, see you at Xiajing Academy. Then I'll treat you to a meal then. Hearing everyone say that, Moyu replied curtly with just 1 word. Okay, which left everyone bewildered. Xiajue stood up to explain. This guy doesn't like to talk. I've been his classmate for 3 years, and we've spoken less than 10 sentences in total. After counting back and forth for a while, Moyu said it was 26 sentences. His answer made the 2 people in front of him laugh uncontrollably. As for Xiaoshui, she could only hold her head in exasperation. Scene changed to that evening at Moyu's house. He was holding a family photo and talking to it. Sister, I'm about to get into Xiajing Academy, Grandma. I've become the national top scorer. While he was engrossed in showing off his achievements, suddenly there was a knock on the door. Moyu went to open the door and saw two figures. He asked Principal Lu, "Why are you here?" Suddenly, the person with Principal Lu exuded a terrifyingly oppressive aura. Moyu immediately felt a terrifying presence. His breathing became a little difficult. Then he immediately summoned a skeleton warrior outside ready to fight. Only then did Bai Yi retract his oppressive aura and say, "Not a bad reaction. Always so dramatic." Moyu recognized him and immediately bowed. "Greetings, Lord Bai Shen." Seeing this, he said, "This time I came to talk to you about the academy, Xiajing Academy with you." He commented that Moyu was calm, steady, and had excellent reflexes, a good seed. Entering the house, he looked around. The place was very simple, not very modern at all. Principal Lu explained, "My lord, don't mind it. Last year, Moyu's sister also went to Xiajing Academy, so he has been living alone." Hearing this, he was even more surprised. With such a family background, both siblings were able to get into the academy. Xiajing truly precious. To have a talent like him emerge is even rarer. At this moment, Bai Shen used a probing technique to check the strength of the skeleton warrior. All 4 stats were 250. The stats are also normal, but how did you do it in the war space? It looked so overpowered. Moyu was extremely surprised after hearing Bai Shen speak. The stats are all 250. It seems others can't see the skeleton's stats after being buffed by the talent. Even a top-tier expert can't see through it. Bai Shen directly asked Mo, "You, what talent have you awakened?" Principal Lu was even more surprised. "You've really awakened a talent. Moyu didn't hide it anymore. My talent is buff. It enhances all skills and stats." Hearing this, Bai Shen smiled brightly, because it matched his thoughts, as expected. Then everything makes sense. After thinking, he said, "I came today for 2 things. First, to give you the reward from Xiajing Academy. Second, to take you to the academy. The day after tomorrow, there will be a trial. I hope you can also participate." Moyu asked back, "What kind of trial is it?" Bai Shen answered, "It's just a trial within Xiajing Academy. The participants are all students of the academy. I can only tell you the specific information after you agree to participate." Moyu started to think, "It's not a mandatory trial. The decision is in my hands. What does only students of the academy mean? The information must be kept secret. It seems the content of the trial is not normal." Bai Shen, seeing his hesitation, gave another hint. "I can't reveal the content to you, but I can tell you that this trial is a rare opportunity. Originally, you wouldn't be able to participate in this trial without letting Bai Shen finish." Moyu immediately agreed. "I'll participate. A rare opportunity that's also free, only a fool would refuse." Hearing this, Bai Shen was very pleased and laughed. "Ha ha, so it's decided. Let me give you the reward first as the national top scorer. Your reward is not small." He took it out and placed it on the table, including a skill scroll. Bai Shen pointed to the card and said, "The first reward. Besides the exam points from before, you're rewarded with an additional 100,000 points. Your points are all in this card. You must have heard that at the academy, points are even more useful than gold coins. The second reward is 1 basic skill scroll and 1 intermediate scroll. The third reward is based on your performance in the war space. It was just added as a reward for you. That is the right to enter the Divine Xia Tower once. The right to enter the tower is very precious. Especially for the first time, you should prepare thoroughly before entering." Moyu heard his instructions and understood. Bai Shen giving such detailed instructions must mean the third thing is extremely important. He said, "I understand." After giving the rewards, Bai Shen left and told Moyu, "Get ready, I'll take you to Xiajing Academy." Moyu didn't have much to prepare. He just grabbed a few things and followed Bai Shen out. The two of them stepped into the teleportation circle and left. Principal Lu stood to one side and cheered. "Do your best, kid." In an instant, the teleportation array on the other end lit up right in front of the gate of Xiajing Academy. When Moyu arrived, the first thing that hit his eyes was a large stone slab carved with the 4 words, Xiajing Academy, very clearly and majestically. Bai Shen explained, "This great gate is both a protective gate and an offensive weapon. Even a top-tier expert would have to pay a huge price to break in." Then he told Moyu, "Let's go." Entering the hall, someone came to welcome Moyu. Bai Shen introduced. This is the residential area. You can stay here today. I'll go first. Rest. Well, tomorrow, someone will come to show you around the academy. Moyu was still the same, just replying with a yes. The receptionist bowed respectfully. Greetings, Lord Bai Shen, even more surprising. What is this kid's identity? Lord Bai personally brought him here, yet he's so indifferent to Lord Bai. After Bai Shen left, the two started talking. You're Lin Moyu, right? Getting a yes from Moyu. He then asked, what kind of room do you want to stay in? We have many options here. A dormitory room for 4 people is 500 points a month. For 2 people, it's 1,000 points a month. A single room for 1 person is 2,000 points a month. A villa is 10,000 a month. As for a cultivation villa, the price is off the charts. Different types of rooms have vastly different prices. Classmate Lin, I know you just finished the exam, so you have quite a few points, but I advise you to save where you can. Later on, there will be many things that require points. For now, stay in a 4-person or 2-person room, but Moyu really did need to save a bit. So he chose a single dorm room. After thinking, he said, I want a single dorm room. Hearing that he asked a single dorm room. Are you sure? As he asked, he thought to himself, having money really makes you willful if you don't save. Now you'll regret it when you find out how hard it is to earn. Moyu was still the same, just replying with a yes. A moment later, he also helped Moyu choose a single dorm room. He said, all right, classmate Lin, give me your card so I can process the payment and register for you. When Moyu swiped the card, the man was shocked because on that card, there were too many over 130,000 points. He wondered, how do you have so many points? Moyu coldly said, it's all free stuff. The reward for the national top scorer hearing that he also stammered a whole 130,000. No wonder you want a single dorm room. Since I entered the academy, I've only earned a total of 10,000 points, not even a fraction of what he has. Moyu completed all the procedures. The man walked out waving goodbye. All right. From now on, this is your dorm room rest. Well, if you need anything, just contact me. Remember to buy a communication device tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be very inconvenient. Late at night, Moyu sat in his room looking at the scenery outside. He saw those flashes of light. Is someone practicing skills? As expected of Xiajing Academy, everyone is so diligent. In an atmosphere like this, leveling up will surely be much faster than before. The next day, Moyu was sitting on a chair meditating when someone rang his doorbell. Moyu went to open the door, and unexpectedly his guide for the day was none other than Ning Yi, the girl who ate all his roasted sweet potatoes back in the forest. Ning Yi was extremely enthusiastic, grabbing Moyu's hand and dragging him away like a whirlwind. Come on, I'll take you for breakfast, then I'll show you around Xiajing Academy. Arriving at the Xiajing Academy cafeteria, the food was arranged like a buffet. When it was time to pay, Moyu chivalrously swiped his card. Ning Yi tried to stop him but was too late. She asked, why did you pay with points? If you can use gold coins here, you should absolutely not use points. But Moyu was a poor kid. I don't have gold coins, only points. Ning Yi was speechless. If you don't have gold coins, you should have said so. This young miss is not short on gold coins. Next time, don't waste points like that. They're very hard to earn. She turned to look at the price and breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, it's only 5 points, but when she looked at the balance, she was surprised. Wait a minute, something's wrong. The bun in her mouth dropped right out. How do you have so many points? You're a real tycoon. After they finished eating and went outside, Ning Yi reminded him carefully one more time. Remember, in the future, if you can use gold coins, absolutely do not use points. Points should be spent on weapons. Even if you have many points, you must do so. Moyu heard this, got a headache, and just replied, okay, so Ning Yi would stop nagging him. Even more surprisingly, Moyu gave Ning Yi a gift. This is for you. Ning Yi took it and couldn't stop praising it. So beautiful. Is this the Goblin King's core? Moyu just grunted. A yes. Ning Yi turned to him in shock. Do you know how valuable this is? This is the material for the epic grade accessory, the Ring of Joy. A boss-level accessory. If you sold it at the trading post, it would be at least 1 million gold coins. Are you really giving it to me? Moyu just coldly grunted a yes. Because when you're into a girl, you'll give her anything. Besides, what's wrong with investing in a future wife now? Then he thought to himself, This thing is so valuable. It seems the Royal Dynasty Guild really took a heavy loss because of me. Ning Yi accepted the gift and was ecstatic. Thank you. Then I won't be polite. The two of them continued their date. Ning Yi showed Moyu around the Jiajing Magic Academy, from the library to the auditorium and so on and so forth. Finally, they arrived at the registrar's office. Ning Yi happily said, "All right, your enrollment procedure is complete." Moyu wasn't interested in these things. He immediately asked Ning Yi, "Why can't I find any information related to my sister?" Ning Yi went to check, but it was just an empty file. She said it's possible she's on a special mission for the academy that requires confidentiality, so you can't look it up. It's also possible she has joined a special academy like the Academy of Light, but I think it's likely your sister has joined some academy. After that, the two went outside. Ning Yi said, "All right, don't worry, nothing will happen, but let's go. It's time for serious business today. Besides showing you around the academy, I have another mission." She led him to a classroom where some people were already waiting. Ning Yi called out loudly, "Sister Taozi, I've brought the person, it's the national top scorer." Taozi came over and shook Moyu's hand. "Hello, I'm Zhang Tao Tao, a level 23, Spirit Knight Lin Moyu level 17, Necromancer." A young man holding a scepter spoke up sarcastically, "Only level 17. Are you kidding me? Even if you want to bring someone, you shouldn't just find some random nobody and bring them here." Ning Yi, hearing what he said, angrily ran over to confront him. "Ling Zhen, what do you mean by that? Watch your mouth. Mo Yu is the national top scorer." Ling Zhen looked down on Mo Yu with great disdain, compared to our hidden dragon team. "What's a national top scorer? Haven't we met a national top scorer before? All of them were useless trash." Ling Zhen moved close to Mo. "You condescendingly. Your name is Lin Moyu. Right, I know you were recommended by Lord Bai Shen to come here, but don't think that having a connection with Lord Bai means you can do whatever you want. In our dragon team, we only care about strength. Taking you on this trial is not a problem, but please shut your mouth and don't say anything. The less sound you make, the better. And don't drag us down. Otherwise, I'll be the first one to strike you." Mo Yu was speechless. Even the great young lady of the Xia family had never been as arrogant as this guy. Mo Yu just said back 2 words. "Moron." Ling Zhen heard Mo Yu call him a moron and became extremely furious. He mobilized his spiritual power, looking extremely fierce. "What did you say?" Ning Yi rushed up to stop him. "Ling Zhen, you dare to hit someone!" Zhang Tao also immediately intervened. "Ling Zhen, stop it." Ling Zhen was angry but couldn't do anything. He gritted his teeth. Out of respect for Sister Taozi, I'll spare you." Zhang Tao, however, had a different attitude. She very gently said, "Tomorrow we'll set off at 9 a.m. Let's gather here. As for the trial's content, I can only tell you tomorrow." Mo Yu very gently replied, "I understand. Thank you." Ning Yi cheerfully said, "Let's go. We need to buy some things to prepare." After the two left, Zhang Tao spoke to Ling Zhen. "I know you're not convinced, but don't bring personal grudges into the trial. Besides, he's the one Lord Bai recommended." Ling Zhen was still bitter and replied, "I know my limits. I just want to see what kind of person replaced my little brother's position." Zhang Tao continued, "He's the national top scorer. Although that's nothing compared to us to be able to achieve top scorer, he must have something special. Besides, his profession is a new and unique one." Ling Zhen didn't acknowledge it. "Even if you bring someone, they should at least be somewhat useful. Every year there are new professions. The result is that most of them are trash. Maybe the Necromancer is the same." Outside, Ning Yi told Mo, "You don't bother with that guy. Just treat him like a madman." "That's it. Let's go. We need to buy some healing potions, mana recovery potions, and also a communication device." Ning Yi took Mo Yu to a store and bought things generously, 10 bottles each of healing and mana recovery potions, and also a communication device. Mo Yu also conveniently took out some items from the Goblin King, like a bow, a sword, and a spear to sell. The communication device was a watch that projected a 3D image into the air. Very modern. Ning Yi was very happy. "From now on, I can bother you anytime I want." The two took out their communication devices. Let's be friends, and the first person in our male protagonist's contact list is the beautiful Ning Yi. At the end of a day's date, Ning Yi took Mo Yu back home. "Goodbye, then see you tomorrow." Mo Yu also said, "Okay," and went inside. Mo Yu took out the skill book to study. I should prepare more for this trial trip. Using the basic skill scroll, after a while he finished learning. The new skill scroll slowly faded away. Success acquired the skill. Curse of Slowness. Within a 5-meter radius, curses the enemy, reducing their speed by 5%, lasting for 1 minute. Moyu calculated. With the talent buff, the range will reach 50 meters, and the slowing effect will also reach 50%. The duration increases to 10 minutes. Fighting like this after using the skill, Moyu could take a nap and the monster still wouldn't reach him, so just play solo. Who else can even compete? It's another god-tier skill. And if you can't beat a monster, just curse it and run. Currently, Moyu's skills can be divided into 3 systems: summoning system, summoning his underlings' attack system, and curse system. No matter which system, they are all very important and, moreover, extremely powerful. Hopefully in the future I can learn skills from other systems as well. Scene changed to the next day. Ning Yi called Moyu. Wake up. The sun is already high and you're still sleeping in. I'm downstairs. Come down, we'll eat together, and then we'll set off. Moyu just said, okay, and hung up immediately. After breakfast, the two went to meet Jiang Tao. She immediately instructed everyone, after being teleported to the location, do not wander off. Ling Zhen still tried to provoke Moyu. Kid, don't drag us down. Ning Yi retorted, it would be good if you don't drag us down. Jiang Tao also said tiredly, whatever conflicts you have, settle them after the trial. You all know how important this trial is. Now introduce your professions. A girl stepped forward and said, first Miao Yu, level 20, Spirit Elder, rare profession. A young man continued, Duan Gao, level 20, Prophet, rare profession. Next is Ling Zhen, level 21, Warlock, rare profession. Jiang Tao, level 23, Spirit Knight, rare profession. Lin Moyu, level 17, Necromancer, the only hidden profession. Ning Yi, level 19, Shadow Assassin, rare profession. After everyone introduced themselves, Jiang Tao spoke up. This trial requires teamwork. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Ning Yi was quick to respond. Sister Taozi, rest assured, we will absolutely not affect the trial. Jiang Tao led everyone to the teleportation gate. The teleportation circle started to activate. A magic circle appeared and enveloped the entire Zhijing Academy team. The Hidden Dragon Students' Trial begins. The teleportation circle activated, taking the whole team to a very gloomy tower, the sky a blazing red. Ning Yi looked at the scene in front of her in astonishment. It's the Divine Xia Tower. Moyu was also in disbelief. So the Divine Xia Tower is in the sky. Next, a powerful energy beam shone on them. It was the power of the Divine Xia Tower teleporting them inside. Moyu and the others' trial this time was on Mermaid Island. The whole team walked to a large crystal rock. Jiang Tao said, that is the mission. Stone, everyone touch the mission stone to know the mission for this trial. Moyu went up and touched it, and the trial mission appeared. The mission is to go to the Mermaid's Tier dungeon, kill the final boss of the side quest, and obtain the Mermaid's Tier requirements. Team entry maximum of 6 people. Average highest level is 20, the Mermaid's Tier. Item is only in the Nightmare level dungeon. Only 3 Mermaid's Tier items will drop. After reading the mission board, Moyu realized. In other words, only the first 3 teams to complete the dungeon can get the Mermaid's Tier. The Mermaid's Tier dungeon is in the center of Mermaid Island. In short, it's just a dungeon. Could the Mermaid's Tier be something special? Jiang Tao seemed a bit serious. I didn't expect the trial location this time to be Mermaid Island. Ning Yi immediately wondered. Sister Taozi, you've participated in many trial missions and have rich experience. Tell us about it. Jiang Tao thought for a moment and said, the Mermaid's Tiers can be used to craft a very special piece of equipment with a very powerful effect. Mermaid Island is not within the territory of our Divine Xia Empire. Moreover, only 3 Mermaid's Tiers drop each year. So besides our Divine Xia Empire, other empires also participate in the trial. Every year, our Hidden Dragon students have a total of 10 teams. We are team number 2. In other words, we not only have to compete with other teams in the academy, but also with teams from other empires. Hearing this, Ning Yi was also worried and asked back, so what do we do if we confront a team from another country? Jiang Tao said, similar things have happened before, but at most they just guard the dungeon entrance and don't let anyone in. Then she said worriedly, her eyes wary, But don't let your guard down because bloodshed and deaths have happened before. If a conflict really arises, do what you have to do, but your life is the most important. After hearing this, they imagined a scene of slaughter. Moyu turned to reassure Ning. Yi, don't worry, we won't encounter that situation. If I meet any arrogant punk, I'll beat them all up to protect my future wife. I'm not afraid of anyone. My house has nothing but skeletons. Then Zhang Tao gave the order, let's prepare to enter Mermaid Island. She told Duan Gao add buffs. The prophet immediately enhanced the stats of strength, agility, defense, and magic power, all buffed by 30% skill power increased by 20%, effective for 1 hour. Moyu looked at his newly buffed body and marveled. This prophet profession is indeed a powerful support class. It's a pity that compared to my talent, the buff effect is too weak. Moyu had an idea. If the prophet's buff is added to my underlings, what effect will it have? He then summoned a skeleton warrior. His teammates saw Moyu's underling and were a bit scared. An immortal summon. Ning Yi cheerfully said, don't be afraid, these skeleton warriors are very cute. Cute to you maybe, but it bombs everyone else without exception. Miss Mo, you went up to ask Duan Gao to add a buff to it. Thanks, Duan Gao was also a bit scared and awkward. Okay, but it wasn't as expected. He added the buff, but then shouted in surprise, my skill can't be added to it. Hearing this, Moyu thought, it's probably because my talent is too strong. Duan Gao's blessing skill is directly overwritten by my talent and can't be used. Ling Zhen, seeing the opportunity, immediately took a jab. Can't even add a buff. This summon is just like its master, a piece of trash. Hearing him run his mouth, Moyu and his underling exchanged a glance. Their gazes were as cold as death itself. What did you say? Say it again for me to hear. What want to fight? It seems Moyu was really fed up with this guy. If no one else was here, his underlings would have already taken him down. Ling Zhen on this side was stunned by the deathly stares from both of them. He backed away in fear, his body trembling slightly. Zhang Tao, as the team leader, quickly jumped in to separate them. If you want to fight, do it. When we get back, finish the trial first. Seeing this, Moyu also turned and walked away. However, the skeleton's gaze was still fixed on Ling Zhen. Zhen felt a little scared in his heart when he saw that gaze. Damn it. Why does his summoned stare make me feel like I'm about to die? My body is cold as ice and stiff. At this moment, the announcement, the trial officially begins, came. Zhang Tao quickly rushed to the front, leading the way and shouting, the trial has begun. Everyone, let's enter the island. Our target is the mermaid dungeon. We need to move faster. If we can avoid fighting wild monsters, we don't need to. Everyone heard the command and replied, yes. The whole team advanced onto the island just like that. As they approached the lake shore, a wild monster began to emerge from the water. It was a level 19. Merman Soldier, its stats were also normal, with no skills. Seeing the people, it jumped up to block them. Zhang Tao, being a knight, charged forward first and attacked the monster directly. Next was a combination attack. Ning Yi quickly used her extremely fast speed to circle behind it, while a fireball spell was also launched straight at the monster to draw its attention. In an instant, Ning Yi used her assassination strike, successfully killing the monster with one blow. An announcement appeared. Defeated, level 19. Merman Soldier gained experience, and the team leader received 7 times the experience. However, after defeating one another appeared, it seems there are quite a few of them. Now, level 21 monsters have appeared. At this rate, it will take us another 3 hours to reach the middle of the island. Our speed is too slow. We can't keep fighting monsters, Zhang Tao said. Miao Yu, you're in charge of control. We'll charge straight through. Miao Yu received the order and used her control skill, finding wind to restrain all the monsters. She said, everyone go quickly, I'm about to lose control. 20 minutes later, at the center of the island, the number of monsters was immense, but many teams had already successfully arrived. Zhang Tao looked at the number of monsters in front of them and asked, if we charge straight through, are you confident you can handle it? Miao Yu looked at the monsters and was also worried. It's impossible. There are too many of them. I can't control them. Besides, they are level 22 monsters, 1 level higher than me. The skill might fail. In this situation, charging straight through makes it easy to get surrounded and fall into danger. But clearing the monsters first would take at least an hour. That would put us very far behind. In this perilous situation, not knowing what to do, you stepped forward. Let me go. Zhang Tao, seeing him volunteer, was a bit surprised. A level 17? What are you planning to do? Ling Zhen was like a dog waiting for a chance to bite again. What can a level 17 novice do? You haven't even helped along the way. What's the point of having you on the team? Ning Yi heard this and angrily retorted, Shut that stinking mouth of yours. Ling Ling? Zhen then insulted Moyu, You should just hide behind a woman's skirt. On this side, Zhang Tao, on the contrary, saw him volunteer and asked Moyu, What are you planning to do? Moyu calmly replied, Just use the skeleton warriors to lead the monsters away. Hearing this, Zhang Tao's spirits lifted. That's right. He has summons. She then said, All right, then I'll leave it to you. With the team leader's approval, Moyu had his underling follow the plan. The skeleton warrior charged forward its speed no less than a raging bull seeing red. With its divine stats, the skeleton warrior charged through the horde of monsters as if they weren't there, luring them away. Zhang Tao immediately seized the opportunity. The path is clear. Let's go through quickly. After the whole team safely reached the central area, Zhang Tao couldn't stop praising Moyu. Well done. This time, thanks to you, the whole team moved as planned. Ling Zhen was waiting for a chance and continued to pick a fight. Why didn't you do that from the beginning? If you had, we would have already reached the mountain and not fallen behind. Ning Yi turned and scolded him. Stop talking nonsense. If you're so capable, go out and show it. He then turned to Mo. Aren't you just relying on your summons? Who knows, you might be a useless piece of trash yourself. Hearing this, Moyu looked like he wanted to have his underlings skewer him. He turned around and looked at him saying, This is the last time. His gentle words were only 3 words long, but if he said it again next time, he would definitely let him know what it means to have a mouth that gets you into trouble. Suddenly, Miao Yu discovered something. Her face was filled with fear as she screamed, run! Run quickly. The scene she saw was an army of monsters swarming down from the mountain. Their numbers reached the hundreds. Zhang Tao, seeing this, was also panicked. This is a dangerous development. Our lives are in danger. Retreat quickly. The person who orchestrated this was from country Y. That's a special profession from their country, the Shikigami summoner. He used his ability and threw out 2 paper talismans. They began to glow. Instantly, the talisman transformed into a giant Shikigami that landed on the ground. That's the ability to summon Shikigami. It said they can even summon ancient gods. Miao Yu immediately wondered, why are they doing this? Zhang Tao said, This is a common occurrence during trials. They probably want to stop us from going up the mountain. That guy then rode the Shikigami and left. He didn't forget to mock them. You guys just wait here. If you can't take it, use the mission stone to teleport home. This time, the mermaid dungeon belongs to our country. Wahahaha. The other teams were also blocked like Moyu's team. They angrily cursed, despicable. The Shikigami summoner is a legendary profession. It seems Country Y has invested a lot. Currently, hundreds of merman monsters are gathered here. It would take at least a few hours to kill them all. Zhang Tao then turned to ask Mo, Can you do it? Loud shouts echoed from the surroundings. Is there a summoner? Lure the monsters away? What do you think a summoner is, with hundreds of monsters here? A summoner is useless. Mo Yu then raised his hand and summoned his skeletons. The skeleton warriors immediately charged off like the wind, luring the monsters elsewhere. Everyone was abuzz again. Whose summon is this? Someone is luring the monsters away. That's great. Too bad there are still 2/3 of the monsters left. What is it? What is it? Mo Yu called out. Another underling. Zhang Tao was extremely surprised. So you have 2 summons. Mo Yu gave the order. Go lead those monsters away somewhere else. He was annoyed with Ling Zhen, so he didn't want to kill all the monsters. He didn't use corpse explosion to kill the monsters. He couldn't let that moron share his experience points. The second skeleton continued to lure the monsters. The other teams were overjoyed. Another one. My brother, well done. After the trial, I'll treat you to a beer. Then a 3rd skeleton appeared, and so all the monsters here were lured away. Everyone wondered, whose summon is this? But thanks a lot. On this side, Zhang Tao gave the order, all right, everyone charge. Don't let that Shikigami summoner get arrogant. Mo Yu had now become the savior of all the other teams. They ran over to thank him profusely. "My brother, next time you want to do a dungeon, we'll pull you. Thanks a lot." My brother Ling Zhen on the side could only be jealous. Ning Yi, seeing this, smiled until her eyes crinkled. The teams started to advance. The Shikigami summoner who was ahead was also surprised. What's going on? How could they get up here? With so many monsters, they should have been held back for at least an hour. He turned to his teammates and said, "Archers, to your positions. Even though I don't know how they dealt with the merman monsters, we must stop them." The archers positioned above started to attack. A rain of arrows fell from the sky onto the advancing teams. The teams unable to react in time were injured by the arrows. But some reacted quickly. The mages immediately put up their shields to protect themselves. Moyu had his underlings act as a shield to protect Ning Yi, and he remained unscathed. Ning Yi stood behind Moyu very happy. "This time with you and these cute skeletons, I don't feel scared anymore." After the first exchange, both sides stopped fighting. The other teams came over to discuss. "This won't do. Our team is too disorganized. We need to reorganize. It's best to have a strong mage." "That's right. We lost too many people at the foot of the mountain. We need to form a team that can suppress Country Y." On Moyu's team's side, Ling Zhen suddenly approached Jiang Tao. He said, "Team leader, I want to switch to another team." Then he pointed at Moyu. "Either he goes or I go. You decide, team leader." Duan Gao and Miao Yu also spoke up. "Ling Zhen, how can you be so unreasonable?" "That's right. If it weren't for Moyu leading the monsters away, we wouldn't have even gotten here." Ning Yi was also furious and scolded Ling. "Zhen, you're truly not worthy of being a person." But contrary to their indignant reactions, Moyu was very calm. He waited to see what Jiang Tao would do. If she chooses Ling Zhen, then he alone with over 100 underlings would be enough to handle this dungeon. As for Ling Zhen, he was extremely confident in his own abilities. "The team leader will definitely keep me. The other teams are looking for a mage, and this team can't lack my attack power right now. This way I can kick Mo Yu off the team." After a moment of thought, Jiang Tao made her decision. "If that's the case, Ling Zhen, you leave the team." Jiang Tao's answer was very decisive, but perhaps she didn't expect that she had chosen the right civilization. After hearing Jiang Tao's answer, Ling Zhen couldn't believe it. He was utterly shocked and turned to shout, "What the team leader is telling me to leave the team. If I leave the team, then you're done for in this training. Don't you want to get into the Academy of Light?" Jiang Tao was very decisive. "Of course I do. But have you forgotten that my profession is a spirit knight? I have my own beliefs. I can't fulfill your request this time." Ling Zhen no longer had a chance to stay. He turned and left, not forgetting to boast, "If that's the case, then don't you all regret it." Ling Zhen had left the team. His departure was when Mo Yu would make his move. "It's time to show everyone my strength." He spoke up. "Team leader, let's enter the dungeon." Jiang Tao was also surprised. "Huh, what did you say?" "But Country Y is still up there." Ning Yi also ran over and said very happily, "Sister Taozi, let's enter the dungeon." Jiang Tao didn't understand what the two kids were talking about, but how are we supposed to get in? Duan Gao and Miao Yu were also bewildered. The two looked at each other confused. "Should we follow them? What are we doing, just standing here?" The whole team started to enter the dungeon. Duan Gao was a bit confused. "At worst, we'll just retreat. With me here, we can't be in any danger." But why does Ning Yi trust Mo Yu so much? At the entrance to the dungeon was a waterfall. The teams that arrived first were also gathered here. The people from Country Y who had arrived first started scolding the people from Divine Sia. "Get back, don't get close to the dungeon." The teams from Divine Sia heard this and got angry. Mo Yu recognized the person who had arrived as the summoner brother from before. "Let's go too. Don't let the people of Country Y bully our Divine Sia brothers, protect him." Ling Zhen with another team had also arrived. He sneered, "Are you all here to die?" The Shikigami summoner from Country Y began by summoning his Shikigami, which started to charge forward and open its mouth to attack. The other people also used their support skills. Mo Yu's team was also ready to fight. Jiang Tao took out her shield and stood in front to block Mo. Yu also raised his hand in the arrogant posture of a death god. The skeleton summoning portals slowly appeared. The skeleton army appears. Go. The sight was terrifying. The skeleton army appeared and lined up neatly to protect them. All attacks directed at them were successfully defended by the underlings. Jiang Tao, Duan Gao, and Miao, You all had the same expression, utter astonishment. What is this? I didn't expect Moyu to have so many summons. These skeleton warriors have blocked all the attacks. The opposing side was no less surprised. What kind of monstrous profession is this? How can he have so many summons? What are these skeletons? Our attacks are completely useless. They clearly look so dilapidated, as if they could crumble at any moment. At this moment, they finally saw the true strength of Moyu's team. They're about to enter the dungeon. We must stop them. The teams from Country Y started to charge forward with all their might. However, at this moment Moyu had already touched the door, and he had chosen the dungeon difficulty, nightmare difficulty. By the time they realized it, it was too late. Moyu's team had completely disappeared into the dungeon, and the attack no longer had any meaning. At this moment, they could only be angry in their hearts and blame themselves. What else could they do? Moyu's entire team was transported into the dungeon inside. Amidst a picturesque mountain landscape, they were in a cave. Zhang Tao secretly glanced at Moyu. This kid actually hid his skills. Good thing I chose the right civilization, otherwise we would have been gone just now. Ning Yi knew everyone was very bewildered. She said, "Don't worry, Sister Taozi, his skeletons are formidable." Zhang Tao also happily replied, "Then that's good. I hope the skeletons have enough attack power. I'll try my best to block as many attacks as possible from the monsters." Zhang Tao regained her confidence and started giving instructions to Miao Yu. Remember to heal me in time. And the job of controlling the monsters is also up to you. Miao Yu put on an act and said, "Don't worry." Sister Taozi Duangao was also excited. Let me cast more blessings for everyone, but while they were still assigning tasks, the notification appeared. Killed level 21, Elite. Merman Warrior experience, plus 110,000 down, obtained 10 fish scales. The whole team froze, stunned. Wait, what just happened? Why did we suddenly get experience? What on earth is going on? They turned to look, and the corpse was already there, and the stats of this level 21 monster are quite high. They looked at Mo Yu. He had already ordered his underlings to continue searching for targets. Zhang Tao couldn't believe it. Did his skeleton warrior just kill an enhanced elite monster in this nightmare-level dungeon? Even a perfectly coordinated team might have to fight it for 2 minutes. Ning Yi, however, was already used to it. She followed Mo Yu and said, "Everyone believed me. His skeletons are very powerful. Everyone, let's go up together quickly." Duan Gao panicked and said, "Wait, the buff hasn't been added yet." Zhang Tao said, "Who cares about the buff anymore?" "Forget it. Let's follow him first and talk later." Mo Yu's underlings charged forward as if in a frenzy, searching for and destroying monsters. As soon as they encountered a monster, they used a single berserk strike to send them to their ancestors. Zhang Tao followed, not believing her eyes. This is the first time I've experienced this scene. I didn't expect a dungeon run to be so easy. Before, I always had to face them head-on, paying attention to the monsters and protecting my teammates with every attack. It seems this dungeon run, I don't need to lure the monsters anymore. Duan Gao and Miao Yu also looked at each other bewildered. It seems we're not needed this time. It's like we don't need to do anything at all. We just need to follow and reap the rewards. After a while of sweeping, the whole team reached a dead end in some cave. Dead end. This dungeon doesn't have too many monsters. Ning Yi looked down into the abyss. She shouted, "Down there, it looks like a boss." Everyone looked down and saw a giant snake. Its information appeared. Merman Queen's pet. Snake Elite Leader. Level 23. Its stats are quite impressive. Strength 3600, Agility 5500, Spirit 3000, Constitution 5000. It also comes with skills: Whip Strike, Death Constrict, Poison. Mo Yu was also surprised. Its stats are even higher than the Goblin King's. Currently, my underlings only have stats of 2700. Zhang Tao found it a bit difficult to deal with. She said, "Let me go block the monster," but Mo Yu shook his head. No need. Then, he had his underlings continuously charge down into the abyss. The whole group used a swarming tactic to fight the boss, but the stat difference was too great, so they couldn't defeat the boss. Instantly, it whipped them a few times, sending them flying far away. It used its fast speed to climb up. Seeing this, Zhang Tao shouted, "It's too agile, what do we do?" When things get tough, Mo Yu takes care of it. It's okay. He used his new skill, Curse of Slowness. Immediately, several invisible chains appeared and wrapped around the python. Its speed was slowed down a lot. When speed was no longer an advantage, the underlings also took the opportunity to climb onto it, and Zhang Tao was surprised and asked, "Is that a curse-type skill?" Moyu calmly replied, "That's right." She looked at Moyu again and marveled. "He has summoning ability and also a curse-type skill. What kind of profession is a necromancer anyway?"